as I said many times before, as far as 2023 goes, there's literally only about 5 or 6 24-hour days of cloudy weather or rainy weather all put together for the days of 2023 where I've been. Otherwise, the whole of the 365 days of 2023 was opening up into blue skies and sunshine wherever I went. Now, obviously, I mentioned this year, so we've had the first couple of days of January cloudy, and they weren't full cloudy days, you know, sort of half, maybe three quarters. When we come to the month of February, basically the rest of January is sunny, and so was the section of the first part of February. When I went down my father's to stay, there's a little bit more in the way of cloud, but they were still opening the sky up into blue skies and sunshine most days when I was there, and especially when my dad went out in town or whatever, or went for a coffee. So, right, yeah, and now branches are fucking playing up on me. Right, so after that, I came back to Yeovil, because I had to go to my dad's because I was experiencing burning sensations, which I was suspicious of being caused by energy weapons to a point where I'm burning intensely. That hasn't really stopped, to be fair. It's still occurring now, but there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is eliminate it by going in another room. But this was really intense back at the time, and it was really intense when I came back, and I thought, well, if I lose my life, you're responsible, and you're responsible for sexuality and my death. So at the time, I went to sort of get a bit nasty about it, and started moaning about it, and started making frequent calls. I said it's not schizophrenia. So anyway, there's a documentary that covers all this. It's already on YouTube, but I can put it on my new account so you can have a look at it. But I will have to check it first because it might have names in there that can't go on the internet or whatever. So, because at the time I was in such a bad mood that I just released information like names and the addresses. But you know, that burning was fucking bad. You know, it nearly took my life, and I've had to go to hospital for it. And they just say nothing's causing it, apart from schizophrenia, which I don't believe. So the next thing I want to mention is when I came back, the rest of March was sunny, apart from the 2nd of April and about 20 cloudy downpours, which were lasting no more than 2 minutes, most of them, with cloud cover. Then, apart from the 2nd of April, it's basically been sunny. So you had 3/4 of a day on the nearly the whole day on the 2nd of April, just in the last hour of the evening or whatever it was, that you had the sunshine, but you did have 3 15-minute sun outbreaks on that day. And then it was basically sunny with blue skies every day with the occasional downpour, but they were doing it in a way that when a downpour occurs, they're keeping it sunny at the same time. Most of those downpours are no more than a few seconds, and there's about 50 to 60 before we reach the month of July. Between then, every single day was sunny. You had a few hazy sunshine days of about 5 days, but not 24-hour days. So let's say about 3 to 24-hour days at a push, where you had hazy sunshine to some extent on some days. That's for the whole between the 2nd of April or 5th of April to basically the end of July, when I'm mentioning that hazy period. That's covering everything, you know, just to, you know, clarify that there has been, you know, some form of cloud cover, but not great. I need to sort of give it in full detail, you know, of how it occurred, you know, because people are going to wonder. You can't say it's just blue skies all day, so you've got to give that information as well. It didn't really do much, even though it's hazy sunshine. It didn't do much. It didn't do much at all. The sun was still coming out, but you did have about 5 days that are summer days where that occurred. So that's it for that time period. So something like from sort of 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening sort of time period, maybe 12 hours, maybe, I don't know, but it's that sort of time for the cloud cover that's occurring. Well, it's not cloud cover, sorry, the hazy sunshine, sorry, where the sun's still coming through and it's still irritating and it's very bright, but this is mostly in the sort of April and beginning of May period when this occurred. So obviously, apart from the 2nd of April, it's basically blue skies and sunny, apart from what I just mentioned with hazy sunshine. But that, like I said, that's only a few days. Right, I had to stop the recording because I got a bit confused on what I was saying. But yes, I covered the bit about the hazy sunshine. So apart from that, it's blue skies and sunny every single day until the 28th of May. On the 28th of May you had half a day where it's cloudy, and the evening was blue skies and sunshine. And there was a section in the morning where it's sunny as well. When we come, then it's sunny every single day. Not all blue skies, but sunny every single day where I am. Every day. Not a single cloud cover for the whole day. Maybe you might get the occasional 10-minute cloud cover in a day, or 15-minute cloud cover at a maximum. That's a maximum. And that's only where a few clouds pop over here and there. And most of that seems to be in the months of mostly August, maybe late July. Otherwise it's just been blue skies and sunny for the whole day. Right, so the 28th of May, as I mentioned, then it's like basically sunny every day. Take into account most days there's never more than a couple of minutes of cloud cover, if any cloud cover at all, even on the cloudiest, rainy predicted days, because of the way the weather's being maliciously set up and cursed on me. So it wasn't until the 22nd of June until we had some form of cloud. So we had 3 hours of sunshine, and then obviously it's 30 degrees Celsius in my room, and I couldn't do nothing about it. Then it clouded over while I was washing my clothes and taking a shower. That was cloudy for about 3 hours, and then it was sunny again for 45 minutes. Then you had about an hour's worth of cloudy weather again, and then the rest of the evening was sunny with blue skies. That's the 22nd, and then obviously it was sunny every day until we reached July the 8th. On July the 8th there was a quarter of a day, I think this is the right way around, I can't remember which way around it is, where it's cloudy, otherwise blue skies and sunshine. But it was cloudy, it was white cloud, it wasn't a grey cloud day, so it was a bright day, but you had some form of cloud cover for a quarter of a day. The following day you have 45 minutes, which was rain, which is the 9th of July. And then after that you had three 15-minute periods where you had grey cloud and rain cover, and I fell into a trap of going to places in that 15 minutes, like walking to the bus station, as it occurred in the sneaky time. Sort of when I went out it was sort of cloudy, and then it turned blue skies and sunny for the rest of the day. So it's worked out like that. And also something else that's happening is they're causing it to cloud over when I go into like a shop or a building or back at my place, and then causing it to be sunny when I go out again, in a way where they're trying to control the sun around me. So that's them on the 11th of July. I can't remember if it's the 11th or 12th or the 13th actually, I can't remember what day it was. But you had another period where you had about I can't remember, it's about half an hour I think, something like that. It might have been less, it might have been a bit more. I've actually forgotten for that specific day. But either way, it was no more than 45 minutes when there was some form of cloudy weather, rainy weather on that day. And then as we come into August, every single day has been sunny with blue skies. Today, and this is something else I mentioned, they step up all this organised force against me in malicious setups when we get the cloudy weather, and they try getting me off the bus service as well, by packing the bus service or causing threats, causing as much havoc as they can fucking possibly cause, to stop me going anywhere, because the government wants to cause me to go out on a sunny day only. They're doing it in a spiteful way, so whoever's controlling the weather's doing it spitefully, because they don't want me to go anywhere unless it's in sexual weather. And then they take the piss out of me in the sexual weather to tell me to fuck people who raped me as a child, to be replaced as a replacement to this cursed painting, which they're violating against me, of Lauren. Now I call it the Lauren painting. There is another person that I have actually thought of, which was yesterday afternoon, that would actually look more to another person than this Lauren. It actually looks more like Julia. But But the thing is, it's not a celebrity or someone that people are going to walk into or know. That's the problem. So it makes it very difficult to describe who this person is. It's in the clouds. Yeah. Anyway, this Lauren, she works in Tesco's. She saw my CD, because I had a piece of paper and a CD that says there's only one single, because I haven't had nothing in my whole life. I stopped putting that on my CD cover because I've been started on and someone tried attacking me with a knife going back in 2016 area, saying I'm a sick cunt, trying to claim that I've been with someone, saying everybody's had sex. You don't carry a CD cover like that. You have your fucking brains bashed out and you've got a knife out, and things got a little bit upsetting, so I had to change out and put a music track in there instead. And I didn't see this person again, not that specific person. However, it could have been, he did look similar to one incident that occurred. Again, it's in 2016 area. I can't remember what year it was. It was a day when it was raining on Father's Day. He came out with a knife to smash me in at the back of the golf course at Barrow Sand Dunes as I was walking from one area to the next. But because there was a family of a load of people that were coming out off the beach on this rainy day, I think it was windy as well, this chap, after he got his knife out, he ran away. And because people weren't thinking I was Sven at that time, the person who had the knife was shouted at by the family who was coming, and that's where he ran off. Now, this person was a bearded type person, rough looking, the same type of person that gives me the threats mistaking me as Sven, but back then this was before the Sven threat existed, so he must have thought I was somebody else. Anyway, let's get out of that and just speak about this painting, shall we? So, I mentioned this painting many times, but this Lauren, it's a lookalike to Lauren. It's not Lauren. Obviously, after thinking of this Julia yesterday, it looks more like Julia, to be fair, than Lauren. But didn't really click for a long time. I didn't really sort of take to it. But I'm still going to call it the Lauren painting, because obviously it's a good name to call it when I'm describing the subject, because obviously it's well known under that name on the internet on previous videos that I've done, or audio clips. So she saw my CD single, the piece of paper and the CD that said "Are you single?" and she sort of smiled at me and sort of made hints to say, or came to me at the checkout sort of staring at me, sort of applying, well, she was sort of applying going into the toilet to be fair. But before that chance took place, what was happening is there was a time in rough people in my direction, and nasty people, and they say, no, what's going on? He's no, he fucking isn't, and sort of saying that and saying, I'll fucking bash his brains out, go on, fucking go down there, and doing all that. And then other times I went into there's more people surrounding me, and I was walking into nastier people, and then there's been a couple of times where I've actually had to walk out of Tesco's where it's got so nasty and so violent. And then obviously I didn't hardly ever see this Lauren, and when I did, this is when I found out that she was starting to mistake me as Sven. And then her boyfriend, I don't know if this was her boyfriend initially or whether she was single, I don't know, but she had someone called Mike, and they had two ginger haired boys that were born in that sort of time period of when I saw her, were about a year after that, maybe 2 years after that. So whether she was in a relationship at that time, or whether this is a new person that came into her life suddenly, I do not know. But she appeared to be single, and it was only in the time period when when I noticed she was with this Mike, when I saw her in town with this Mike, that she started getting offensive with me, or starting to ignore me, or look at me like a piece of dirt, or thinking I'm Sven or whatever. And then obviously this Mike, when he was on his own on a couple of occasions, before I saw him with this Lauren, told me that I was Sven and he was going to fucking bash my fucking teeth in and smash me to the fucking floor, saying I'm a sick cunt. And he's a muscly person. No, I'm not sure what his age is, but he looks like he's in his 30s. Could be late 20s. However, he could be as high as what my age was back at that time. Or maybe just a touch older. Lauren, although she's a sexual looking smooth skinned lady, she's one of those sorts of really smooth skin that doesn't sort of age that much. And so she could be anywhere between high 20s, mid to high 20s, to about the age I was back at the time I knew her. So she's probably about 40. But the maximum age she'd be is about my age. maybe, it's unlikely, but she could be a couple of years on top of my age, but that is very, very unlikely. So anyway, that's the end of Lauren, and I'm just going to put that aside while I describe this painting, because I'm very annoyed by this. In 2015-2016 area again, I saw this painting on the internet. Before I go into details of the painting, I did look at it and I did see what the suggestion was back at that time, but I didn't take much notice. And I had to jog my memory when I saw it again in Yandles in Martok. So when I saw it in there, it was a hot sunny day, and I thought, yeah, I've seen that picture before, but I didn't take much notice of it. So I thought, well, I don't need to purchase it or photograph it because I've seen it before. I thought, yeah, I know what picture that is. But then there's some details that I remember seeing on the painting, and then it clicked. So I went to walk back initially to go try and get a picture, and then I realised it's only 5 minutes before the bus comes. And I thought, hang on, I'm not going to make the bus, I'll have to do this another day because it's the last bus home. So I got a bit shitty about it, because there's a whole load of setups nailing me as a sick bastard, telling me, oh, there should be fucking people that raped me as a child, and whatever it was on that hot sunny day, and people shouting at me because I was getting a lot of threats being mistaken as Sven. You name it, and it was not a very comfortable atmosphere. And I did actually, I think it was the day where I got my pen out and writ something, because I was not in a very happy fucking mood about it. And then obviously that's when I got caught almost by when the bus came. But I managed to get on the bus and go back. I tried getting back on that bus, quite literally the following day or next few days, and they packed the bus service too heavy and too many people, and unhygienic looking types of people that cough or spit or sneeze in your face or over you, and sort of like boastful sort of fat type people or old grannies that are not very clean, that sort of suggestion. So I thought, well, I have to do it another day and do it another day. And then comes a cloudy-ish morning before blue skies and sunshine for the rest of the day, and they did the same on that day as well. It's just to rub it in, just to let you know that the weather's sly. And then when I did eventually get back down there, I asked a woman in the shop about this painting, and she said she's seen the painting, and she said it has been in here, but obviously, and she said it's quite a newish painting, obviously, so she said it's only sort of been in, we've only sort of recently had that painting come in, on that postcard. So she gave me the name of the person that painted it, because the card wasn't there when I went to purchase it or try and take a sneaky photo or whatever. So I tried to film, when I got in there, and the camera was playing up, so I didn't manage to do that. And obviously I didn't want to get caught filming or whatever, and in the end that was a no-no. So yeah, I had the paper that she wrote it down on, so I had the artist's name, and then obviously I lost it when I got back. 3 months have passed and I went back down there, and when I went back down there I asked her again, the same woman, and they were all thinking I was Sven and putting me down as a sicko and saying that he should be in jail, he's a fucking dangerous man. Started getting on like that, and it turned quite nasty, so they're like, it was not like it was just 3 months before. So yeah, things had changed, and they claimed that they didn't know who did the painting, and I never got that information. I've never seen it on the internet. So I looked in other card shops, and there's one other place, I can't remember if it's Wells, Somerton or Glastonbury. There's another card shop I went into, I think it might have been in the time period I was staying at my father's, I can't remember, and she said she's seen the picture as well. She said basically that it's not selling at the moment, they've taken it off the shelves, and obviously it's not on the internet. So let's get into details of this painting, shall we? You've got a sexy woman that looks like Lauren. So 2 secs. Right, sorry about this, I had to let some people pass, so I had to pause the recording. So yeah, let's get with the painting, shall we? So basically it has a picture that looks like Lauren, but I'd say it looks more like Julia, to be fair, but I haven't really sort of paid much attention or thought of that person that I used to know many years ago, and she didn't really like me anyway, so it's going to make no difference. But she wasn't a nasty type person, she just didn't like me because she was in like the crowds and friends of the people that hate me basically, and like I said many times before, they're the types of people that turn people against me and stop me getting anyone in my young years. And now I'm nailing me as a sick bastard because I won't fancy an old granny today, after they fuck teenagers, people in their 20s and 30s, and yet they got me down as a sick cunt if I don't go to have sex for the first time with a female at the age of 43 or 44. So anyway, let's give you the details of this cursed painting, shall we? Which I'm getting very annoyed about. This painting has a picture of like this lady I just mentioned, which I nicknamed Lauren. The Lauren painting. And her legs are in the clouds, so you don't see her legs, not in the painting anyway. She's got very soft, smooth skin and a very sexual face. And they paint the picture to make it look like she's a animal that's posing like she's sexy and wants sex with this bloke, and she's like out of the sky, you know, in a sort of very suggestive way, to a very erotic suggesting, you know, like she's getting horny about this bloke on the path. So she's got like a straight lip, but it's done in a sexual way. It's like she's going I'm just making a sound symbolic to suggest the lip shape that's on her face. Obviously they've drawn the picture. She's got like it's kind of a feeble face, but it's not. It's sort of a friendly sort of person's face. It's not dry and sarcastic, and it's not the munter type, you know, the very negative type. So it's not going to be like these blonde teenagers, these sexuals. There's not going to be a face like that where they have that sort of sour look or dry and sarcastic or serious look. And it's not going to have the Lisa Pike looking type either, where it's sort of the negative type. It's a different sort of picture altogether. But it's not... It would be like your average lady, how they look in the 80s or 90s or 70s. Not the way they look today, because people have a lot more sour looking appearance in their face today. But like I said, this is just a painting. Anyway, where she's holding her hand out, and out of her hand is coming the sexual sunshine. The sunshine, and this sunshine is being shone down on this bloke that's walking down the path. But this bloke also looks similar to a boy. But if you were to take a picture of my face from a side view, that person's face that's walking down the path that's being cursed by the sunshine would look near enough identical to my face, but not from a portrait view, but from, you know, from the side of my face. If you look at my face from the side, that person on that path would look very similar to my face from a side view, and the nose is the same shape as well. Anyway, this person, whoever it is that they painted on this painting, is holding a clipboard or a word pad or whatever in one hand, and in the other hand he's holding a torch. And then obviously he's got a backpack on, but it's not like your regular sort of tramp looking person or your high up person, or they've done it in a way to look symbolic, like it looks like if you were to look at that person you think, oh, that looks like a decent person, or it come to you as a decent person sort of look, even though it's got my facial appearance from the side view. And you know, that's that. 2 seconds. Right, I had to stop the recording again because I had to let some more people past. This time it came with a crow saying being smashed out, a voice sound, and obviously I had to move away because they were spit talking and unhygienic looking types. Anyway, back to this painting. So we got to the point where the sun's being beamed down on this person by this sexy lady, but it's like she's begging for sex with this person and applying. She knows that this person will enjoy the sex from her, and she knows it's like that, you know. They really rub it in the way they've done that painting, but they've decided to make the painting big. If this painting was just a single painting in a shop and wasn't selling on a mass scale on postcards or anything like that, I wouldn't take as much notice of it or see it as much as a sun curse as I do today. But because they've made that painting big and they're violating me, this is why I'm getting a bit annoyed by it. So even though the sun is being beamed down on me in that sneaky way, the rest of the picture is sort of a mixture of fields and cloudy and rainy weather for the rest of that painting. So it appears to me it's quite a big painting when it was initially painted. And obviously it's a localish artist, but it's a well-known localish artist. It's been produced on postcards or whatever on a mass scale, and this is what pisses me off. But the thing that gets even better is since around the time I saw this the second time, not in 2015 or 2016, But the first time I saw it in the shop at Yandles in Martock on sale on a card, being sold, produced on a massive scale, is since around that time that I saw that, they caused the sun to come out every day and circle me in a cursed way. Ever since around the time I saw that specific painting, so they're being really, really sneaky about it. Right, since basically I started doing these recordings, although you've got a nice breeze today, it's been blue skies and sunshine. Well, I've just found out, after speaking to the staff, of stopping the recording because I wanted to find out what the weather is just 1 mile and a bit from where I am, and they have had no sun at all, so it looks like it is being done on purpose. Not long after I saw that painting, that second time I saw it, not the one in 2015 or 2016, but when I saw it at Yandles in Martock, that was literally around the same time that this continuous sun curse started, which is interesting. And obviously, like today, you know, cloudy everywhere else and blue skies only where I am. There's not actually been a full cloudy day where I've been, where it's been cloudy from start to finish, since 2 years ago exactly. It was August or September 2022. That's the last time you had a full cloudy day, and even on that evening you didn't have the sun out, but you had some sort of hazy sort of rays or sunset colours in the background, which was nice. But that was a full day of cloud. Obviously 2022 was a very sunny year, but when you compare it to 2023 and 2024, it's unbelievable, as I mentioned earlier. But anyway, since around the time this Lauren Curse painting occurs in Yandles in Martock, this is when you started getting cloudier weather. But the cloudier weather was only going around other people. The sky was only opening where I am, and it's been doing this basically every single day since I've seen it, right to this minute in time. And this is like a year ago nearly when I saw the painting, or about a year ago when I saw the painting on the postcard. So basically 365 days almost, or around that time. Every single day's been sunny where I've been, quite literally every day. They do it in a sly way, in a controlled pattern. They're causing it to be sunny every day. Anyway, they're getting fucking nasty about it, because I was getting the evidence of all this and putting it on YouTube and filming the evidence of the sunshine cursing me and getting dates on newspapers of that specific day and then putting it on the YouTube channel on that day to confirm that I'm not making it up, or putting it on the day after where I can make it up. And they were getting fucking nasty about it. People are organising this force against me in a corrupt, controlled way that has been going on and been set up around me since 1997. So they've been doing this persistently. I mean persistently. So they're getting nasty about it. So initially in late 2023, because I was phoned up 10 Downing Street as well, which is the Houses of Parliament in the UK, to let them know that I'm being cursed with sexual weather, sunshine. And they blocked me from phoning them. So that's the end of that, and that's a gunshot, by the way. Right, there's just been an argument, and there's been a few threats which were unexpected. Initially I stopped the recording because I forgot what to because I wanted to mention, write down the last thing that happened, which is the gunshot sound and whatever. But then we had a threat occur, which is basically telling me that I raped a girl, which is a name of a family member, which I'm not very fucking happy about being told, which is not true, and saying that I've got to be knife dead, and that if you go anywhere in that area, you're going to have your fucking brains fucking smashed in and fucking being beaten to fucking death. So starting a row like that. So then I tried pushing record on there, and something stopping it, push record, and then I realised I have it on hold accidentally, and that's not why it's not working. And when I realised that, I couldn't get the evidence or audio record the threat that's being shouted. And then straight after, I decided to do another filming of the sunshine, because they're circling me with the sunshine again, as what this documentary is about at the moment. So yeah, so obviously, like I said, I was getting the evidence, put it on YouTube. They were getting nasty about it and not very happy. So obviously, as I said, this specific painting was taken out of all the card shops, and the painting was off the internet, and they were trying to disguise it. So after that, they decided to get nasty, and they timed a teenager, probably about 14, 15, I can't remember what age she is, I don't know what age she is, but she's a child who looked very similar to Lauren, but of a negative type of child. So fat child, spotty skin, spotty face, rough type skin, sour looking face, dry and sarcastic looking, with that sort of serious appearance, and she was wearing a no sex t-shirt. So she They only wanted to put this specific person in my direction to make the suggestion of this sun curse. That's what they did. And she was wearing a no sex t-shirt. Although she didn't really look like a clean type of person, she had the appearance of Lauren, and that's what they were trying to tell me on that specific day. And this was at Norton Subhampton when I was on the bus service going there. So after they did that, as we come into late 2023 or early 2024, I can't remember when it was, they decided to reconstruct this force against me, these malicious setups that occur, like wording on vehicles, timing black and blue cars, sexual cars, drain covers it over, timing enemies in my path, people to tip me off, nailing me as a sick bastard, telling me to fuck people that raped me as a child, and so on. Well, that's exactly what they did next. They were getting nasty with the videos that I put on YouTube. So firstly, they stopped one of my accounts, and I couldn't go on to that to put any more videos on making conspiracies of the sexual sun cursing me, but violating me with the sex of that specific painting, because that's what it means. That's what the painting's applying. The painting is applying that this lady is going to curse you with the sun. You're going to get the sun, but at the same time, if you don't like the sun, you're going to get cursed with the sun of good luck and sex from the lookalike of the person that's shown on that painting, basically, which is the Lauren lookalike. And then applying, if it's cloudy, you might not get the sex, but you'll get the weather you want, basically. Now, because most people like the sunshine, the painting is to apply that people that are being cursed with the sunshine get the luxury of sex as well. But the problem is, they're violating me with the sex, but causing the sun to come out where I am when I don't like the sunshine. And then obviously, when it's cloudy, you might not get the sex, but you don't get the sunshine. So basically, fucking hell, someone's right. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if it's cloudy, you might not get sex, but you'll get the pictures you want, or you'll be able to walk out and about feeling a bit more refreshed than being in the sunshine, which I don't like. But they want to violate me with that painting. So this is why they've had to take it off the internet, and this is why they've had to take it out of the card shops, because they're not doing it on purpose. They're violating me. So what they've done this year, or late last year, is started timing lookalikes to people that sexually abused me as a child, timed as my willy pops up, or timed to a sexual impulse in my penis, or an erection. But with setups around me, when the sun's out, they're trying to apply that that's the replacement of this Lauren, and you want to start war about it, we'll get fucking vicious and we'll get nasty and we'll accuse you of raping Sadie Dando or Stephanie, whoever. So they started doing that and started getting fucking malice about it. And also, since the 6th of July 2024, all the threats and all the fucking nasty malicious setups have been stepped up big time. So maliciously, really stepped up. I mean, this is really stepped up. This is really nasty at the moment, the threats. I've just had to make a load of Facebook fake channels to leave my stuff on there for other people to look at, to put all the information of all the stuff, which is on Justin Langford's Facebook, and then type in Yeovil and it comes up. But I've also put other places and other names of a few other channels, so that if any of the channels end up going down, I have more backed up, and I'm going to do more and more as the weeks go on, and put the same stuff on there. I don't need to put too much on there. It only takes about 20 minutes to do a channel. But once it's on there for a long, long time, and then you can get your say and get people to read it. If anyone gives you shit, you can give them the details of the channel, like Justin Langford, and then type in Yeovil. So that's how Facebook would work. So there's also some stuff on YouTube as well, but I've done it in a way where so people can locate my channel through music tracks that I'm into, because a lot of people think I play a guitar and think I'm a guitarist when I'm not, and they're saying that they're going to break my fingers and fucking legs off or whatever, so it is quite nasty. So, but anyway, like I said, that's the end of the law and curse of the sexual painting, sexual weather, and it's still occurring at this minute in time, as you know. I just want to mention that since the 6th of July 2024, you're looking at about 40 threats or 40 remarks per day, almost every single day. There has been days where there's only been about 15, 20, but it's all been increased since that specific time. Not so much sneezing, though sneezing is starting to increase. There's about 40 people that are spit talking where it's landing in my face or in my eye, or sneezing in my face per day as well. As far as people photographing me is concerned, anything from 2 to 3 I think the highest we've had is about 40, and that goes back in the time period when I was getting some really nasty threats. In the middle of July, something like that, or no, a bit later than that, because there's been sections, times where there's been calm spells as well. It hasn't been as bad as 2022, because in 2022 I was getting somewhere between 40 and 140 threats per day, and on the really bad days, which was rare, but it could be up to 200 threats. And it's the same amount of people, roughly, that were coughing and sneezing in my face for that specific year. There was at least 40 people that were coughing or sneezing in my face daily for that specific year, and it caused a lot of trouble, because I even had the police have a moan at me because I was mentioning it to 10 Downing Street, which is the government in the UK, and we've had stuff like that because of how frequent it was happening. However, come September onwards of that year, it started to ease a little bit, but when we came into the month of December, it started to kick off again. And then obviously I had a lot of trouble over Christmas as well. Actually, every Christmas I've been at Thorn House, there's been a lot of trouble. The first year, Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, or Christmas Day, was pretty calm, but I did get threats when I was going out, and people were starting on me nastily, mistaking me as Sven. The second year was a whole load of fucking threats. Malicious shouting, aggressive shouting to knife me down, claiming I'm a rapist, all the rest of it is fucking really, really nasty. So, once that passed, hang on, just to mention something else, on the internet I was speaking to a single lady from the Ukraine, who basically added me because she wanted to see if I was single. When I told her my age, she told me that I'm sick and moaned about my age, right in the countdown of 2022 into 2023, on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. She was 25, because obviously I was 42 at the time, something like that. Yeah, and she got funny about my age. Right, so the next thing I wanted to mention is the following year, which is a year that's just gone. It was down, the threats were down, but they were there, but it was down. There's just a few. I don't recall there being many, and that's mostly in the evening of New Year's Eve. Inside the building was rough. Obviously this is when you had other neighbours here that went before they got evicted for trying to knife down the staff door at the staff office at the supported housing that I live. However, when that took place, this person did come on my floor and there was initially blood, but before I woke up to go to get the evidence, the staff had already cleaned it up, and they were cleaning it up on the bottom. So they were so I got up roughly 9ish, because I didn't get much sleep that night, and by the time they cleaned it and they got everything off, they got all the blood off the floor, everything, they cleaned it up big time. So I'm not sure how messy it was up by my door, but there's definitely blood in that area. So yeah, so obviously this year, since 2023, and this year, people are twisting me as being Sven, claiming that my name's been changed to Justin when it's always been Justin. So I've had to start making Facebook channels, as I was mentioning, showing pictures of some picture scans of the music I was into when I was a kid or a teenager, to prove that my music is the same today as it was back then, because people think I'm a guitarist that's raped children and being knifed dead and fucking claiming this, and it's always a dry and sarcastic bearded type people in most cases, or roughneck types of people that are starting on me, mistaking me as this person. I mean, I've already had to post USB sticks containing 15 years of evidence of problems to foreign governments, including Alex Jones Infowars, conspiracy theorist in America, back in 2022. And that was because I was being chased in Nine Springs Woodland with a knife, being mistaken as the rapist, Sven, and another occurrence, which was not long after, which was the following day, and then obviously a day after that is when I started posting these things, which one set was on something of June and the other was posted on the 9th of June. So that's what happened at that time. So got someone over there saying something. I'm trying to work out what it is. It's confusing me when I'm trying to do this. We've had it since earlier. Right, so I just spoke to my mum on the phone. I saw the support worker, and it actually clouded over. So in total there's about 20 plus minutes of cloudy weather, which is the cloudiest it's been for the amount of time and in one go since July. So yes, that's okay. But what happened straight after I spoke to my mum on the phone? Just 1 minute after, the sun comes out. Right, there's a few things I want to mention, which I wanted to mention earlier, but I said it's going to be quite a long recording. So obviously we got through the stun curses and, you know, what I just told you about speaking to my mum on the phone and the sun coming back out and seeing the support worker. But I want to mention a few things regarding the stuff in the building. Now, I don't like giving names, so I'm going to try and get through this without causing too many issues. And I can't guarantee that I'm hearing everything correctly and that it's all coming from the building, or whether it's coming from outside. Right, there's a neighbour called Grace. I can't give surnames for legal reasons or any other information because I don't want to cause trouble. Like I said, I don't know where the actual threats are coming from or where the information's coming from, but I know I'm hearing it and I know it's not schizophrenia. And there's complaints to say that I'm a middle-aged man and they don't want me speaking to this specific neighbour, basically. Now, like I said, I don't know where this is coming from, but it's sounding very nasty, and I think to myself, there's not many people in the building, unless their accent's changed, or someone's got a different accent that changes when they're speaking to somebody else than what they are when they're speaking to me. I do not know. But it does not sound very nice at the moment. So people are saying that I'm supposed to be with Shingles Lisa Attraction, supposed to be with Lisa. One person was saying that I'm supposed to be with a lookalike to what Rachel looks like, which is certainly not my type. She is a friendly person. I can't argue with that. She's a nice person. But for looks, I'd say she's not my type. When my dad was in a relationship with Esme, I'd say she's about twice as negative looking as Esme. I mean, Esme I could just about fancy, I guess, in some ways. I wouldn't say she's sexual, but just about. But obviously, that would be in the end days, because obviously she died. Because obviously, I think it was a stroke or heart attack. Because when my dad phoned me up, apparently she was in very bad condition, and they had the fire brigade there. They rushed her into hospital. And I was going to get a bus so far, and my dad picked me up or whatever, but before I had the chance to get down there to see what was going on, I was told that she's passed away in hospital. So that was in 2015. Anyway, let's go back to this threat that's occurring in the building, shall we? So yeah, they're getting funny with me, saying they don't want me to have communication with Grace. As far as I know, Grace is okay with me. She speaks alright, she's a friendly, decent person. And it just appears that the information content, I don't know where it's coming from, outside or inside. I just can't make out where it is, because I've got the fans going, I've got aircon fans on, so it's difficult to hear now where it's actually coming from. I've got the windows open as well, so. But wherever it's coming from, whether it's St Thomas Cross, Eastville, whether it's Sherborne Road, or whether it's a visitor, a neighbour, I do not know, and I don't want to drop people into it because I don't want to cause trouble. But they're arguing at the moment, saying that I'm not supposed to fancy Grace because of my age, moaning about the age gap, which is pathetic. Which annoys me a bit, because earlier on today, this is happening quite frequently again. Every time they time a lookalike to someone who sexually abused me as a child tied to an erection, they time a t-shirt that says "Make love, not war," or "Age is just a number, it's love that counts." What they haven't timed at the moment, or haven't timed today or the last couple of days, is the t-shirt that says "Over 50 is too old, under 50 is fine." Now, those three t-shirts are from the same company. That one with the 50 on it hasn't occurred today, but the other two have. And there's also that card with the two stickers on the side of it, which is annoying as well. So one of them's like a blackish sort of colour, and it says sexual intercourse, and then there's another one which is like an orangey, red, yellow rounded circle sticker in the car, which is says sexuality is the cause of all problems, which is not something that you put in a window when you've not had anyone in your whole life, you know. I mean, it's not their fault that they put it in the window. I mean, what I mean is that sort of suggestion shouldn't be occurring in my direction when I've not had anyone in my whole life. Anyway, so there's been talk, you know, saying that I'm supposed to fancy Gizmo Lisa. So referring to Lisa Pike as always. I don't like, you know, insulting people or causing trouble or whatever, but there's just some names you've got to give the surname to, because quite literally it's the only way you can sort of explain the situation to the people that are causing this trouble. You know, this is my own suggestion. I mean, I've showed this picture of Lisa because this picture is somewhere when she's somewhere between 28 and 32, possibly 33, but I don't think she's as old as 33. I'm not sure, it depends when she uploaded it on Facebook. But people I've shown this picture to said she looks about 50, because she is actually quite negative looking. They nickname her, my enemies used to nickname her Gizmo Lisa, Shingles Attraction, or Chickenpox Attraction's been used in the past, but mostly in modern times it's Shingles Attraction that they refer to her as. Gizmo Eyes, because she has big eyes. If she was to wear glasses, she looked like the type that wears misted up glasses. She has black greasy hair, sort of really sort of roughy sort of skin, maybe, it's hard to say, very raw looking skin, and she's a fat build. So yeah, she does look a little bit different and a bit more negative looking today. She looks similar to my father, I guess, maybe, I don't know so much. She's got more of an older look, she's sort of more sour looking in the face. Actually, a better description is if you go on YouTube and type in Revelation 11.11, there's a YouTube user on there. She resembles that person almost identically. She calls herself Revelation 11.11 or something like that. So, yeah, she'd be closer to that attraction, I guess. Near enough identical looking to that woman on there. Again, slightly older, and again, I don't take to that type. I can't fancy that type, it's too negative. So, obviously, she's got raw sort of chest in that picture where she's aged 28 to 32, maybe 33. So, you know, sort of, people today are telling me that I'm supposed to be with a person on that picture, and then I'm thinking to myself, you're not taking the age. I'm being told I'm a sick cunt if I look at anyone like Gemma Ferguson, for example, because she's in that sort of age gap of where that of the same, and they're telling me to go with Lisa, not realising that Lisa was 28 to 32 in that picture, which is in the same time, which is the same age as Gemma Ferguson today. And yet they're still telling me to go with that Lisa Pike, not realising that that picture's taken from when she was that age. So, you know. But then again, I've spoken to Emma. When it comes to these sexual people, they don't seem to remember me, I noticed. Emma's someone that used to go to Avalon School. And for the decency, and because I'm not a nasty sort of person, I respect her wishes, and if she doesn't want to speak to me, that's fine. And I tell her it's okay. I say it's not a problem. So when she has mistaken me as Savannah, especially in 2023 and 2024, it's got to a point where she doesn't speak at all, and she just walks past her in a spastic pose with her mouth. So, but if we go back to 2022, when I was speaking to her and she was speaking to me, I wanted to find out a bit more about me, or whatever, speaking in conversation, I was actually being shouted at to be smashed out because they were thinking that she was younger than me. Well, believe it or not, she's actually 1 year older than me, not younger. And because she's a sexual looking person, people threaten to smash me out of beard of people, thinking I'm a real sick bastard and getting fucking nasty about it. And the second occasion, or the first occasion, I can't remember which way around it was, there was another threat that was almost as bad, though it didn't go into any violence or near violence, it was just mouth on that occasion. But the first or second time, whichever one it was, it actually got nasty. It got to a point where I was almost being attacked, you know, literally people get moaning because thinking that she's younger. But we had this problem on the train when I was trying to sort of get to re-know the lady that I knew from Yeovil College back in 1996 area, and she's around about my age, I thought she was 2 years older than me, but I'm not sure. She could be younger, but she gives the appearance of a poodle dog, and everyone were insulting her as being ugly or thinking she's ugly at the college at that time. In those days, the people in that college were like with blonde girlfriends or sexual looking smooth skinned people. Now this poodle, or what, this lady that looks like a poodle dog, I tend to find that back then, yes, I thought she was not very good looking, but as you get older you can more adjustable to the attraction that she looks like. And I thought, yeah, she's not bad, she's quite sexy. She's still got that smooth skin, by the way, and she's my age, you know. The smooth skin she had is the same sort of smoothness as it was back then when she was in her teens. So, and now she's in her 40s. So, you know, even though I know it's the same person, I remember well, you know, well, it's definitely the same person. But when I went to sort of look at her, she looked at me as if she sort of likes me, or kind of might have remembered me even, I don't know. Just seems to be that hint there that she did. That was on the train when I went to Weymouth, which was in August last year. No, August 2022, sorry. People were mistaking her as being younger than what her age is, because she looks younger than what she is. And one bloke got fucking nasty with me, saying, I'll fucking knock your fucking head off. What are you fucking doing looking at her? You fucking sick fucking prick. I'll bash him out. You're a fucking sicko. You wait until I get off this train, I'm gonna fucking smash you out. Because they thought that she was younger than me, when in fact she's probably about the same age or maybe older. And then this other person who was a youth, or somewhere about 18, rough type 18-year-old, he got saying, you're fucking sick, mate, you fucking are. You fucking need to look at her, you fucking leave her alone or I'll fucking bash your brains out. Yeah, he had the cheek to say that. So that's the other occurrence that occurred. And yet, when she got with her group of people, she was sort of looking at me, sort of like she likes me, you know, and I thought, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I thought, yes, so do I like you. But the problem is, they twisted her head, and the next couple of times that I saw her, which was very rare, because I kept seeing her sister rather than her. Now, her sister is actually younger than her, and I think her name's Gemma, I'm not sure. And she's actually got grey hair and wrinkly skin, so she's developed her age very quickly, as some people do. You know, you can get someone who's only like 25 and they look like a granny, and you can get someone who's 50 and they've still got smooth, soft skin. It depends on the way the body reacts, you know, the lifestyle they have, the way they're born, the way they're developed. So it's not just done by age. But when it comes to this specific lady, it's too late to go with her now, because she's now a single mother and she's in a relationship with someone just a little bit younger than me, but someone who's rougher than me. But when she looks at me, it doesn't seem to be a nasty look, but more like a foreboding look, maybe. It's hard to say. Where the eyes are big, like, I'm not sure whether it's like you, but I'm not very happy with you sort of look, you know, don't look at me, kind of. But at the same time, sort of look where it's not full hatred. That's the sort of look I get today. And like I said, because of this, because she's in a relationship and had a baby and pregnant, it's too late. So that's the end of that. But anyway, going back to Grace, yeah, there's a lot of trouble at the moment, saying that she's only in her mid-20s and that he's a sicko in his 40s, and saying he's a middle-aged man and he should be going with a negative type, negative attraction, shingles attraction, and saying I'll break his legs or a fucking knife and we'll smash him out if he doesn't look at the ugly type. Not taking into account that I've never had anyone in my life, and you know, all these people have been with someone, you see. They've all had teenagers or been with people in their 20s, maybe 30s, and I'm being told that I'm a sick cunt if I don't go with an old lady for the first ever sexual relationship in my whole life with a lady, which is not on really. And also, they're saying that everyone's a single mother and that you're a sick perv if you don't go with a fucking single mother. You're supposed to be with fucking single mothers, you fucking sick prick, you stupid bastard, brainless cunt, you fucking spastic. So that's what they're saying. You just got that problem all the time. And I gotta stop recording while that helicopter passes a minute. Right, anyway, that helicopter's passed, so I can speak of what I want to say. So that's the problem at the moment. Basically, it's saying that you should have been with Gizmo Lisa. You should have been with Lisa. You're supposed to be with Lisa Pike. You're supposed to be with Lisa. He should have been with Lisa. He's not going with anybody else. He doesn't know Grace. He doesn't, you know, stuff like that is being said. Well, in actual fact, I'm not supposed to know Lisa in some ways, or Harley from my old school. Shall I tell you why? Because I'm not even supposed to have gone to Avalon School. I had to leave Elmwood School because I was being started on, because some of the older people than me had communication through the school fence of Elmwood School to Blake School, and the people at Blake School didn't like me, and some of these people at Elmwood School knew the Blake people, and because they were starting on me and I was getting a lot of trouble at Elmwood School, I was forced to leave Elmwood School. In the time period when I left Elmwood School, which is about 1994ish, is where I went. Well, it could have been 93, but I think it's 94. I went to Avalon School, and it's Avalon School where I first knew Lani. But Lani, she didn't really. She liked me, sort of a friend, but she was drawn into another. We separated classes, and before I sort of spoke to her properly, it's like that. So, and then she just sort of vanished. I hardly ever saw her wherever she went in the school, because she's like doing different activities, different class. I don't know what was going on, but I never saw her really. And then she left, or she wasn't there anymore. And that was it. And then I knew Lisa Pike, and Lisa Pike started. Obviously, I only liked her as a friend. She was a good friend, you know. It's good to have friends. And obviously, there was a bit of sad news. Apart from Daniel and Louise, so you had Daniel, Dennis, Louise Gunter, Kerry Moore, and her friends that she was hanging about with, because they were always into like soaps, celebrity gossip, the music. Because she was, I sort of when she, you know, she jokes about my music. She was, oh, funky music, you know. They don't use the term funky anymore, you know, because I was into this like underground jungle stuff. They use the term sick, and I don't know why they changed the saying from funky to sick, but they have. But the problem is, what's happened now is where people are saying this is sick all over the internet, they're changing the definition again, making it sound like what's been nailed as put down as sick. They're trying to go back to the actual meaning of sick, saying it's sick music or sicko music. And then obviously it's turning people against all this stuff that people have put down as sick on the internet, causing everything to, you know, get twisted and whatever, and to fold under whatever it is they're trying to do. I'm not quite sure why this is occurring, but you know, that's that. So anyway, Lisa, she doesn't have the same interests as me. She likes like animals, like cats and dogs, which I like, but quite simply, she's not into my music. Although she said it's funky back in school days, it's not really her type of music. To my knowledge and my understanding, to what I've been told, I don't know this 100%, and I haven't really sort of looked on the. I think she's into stuff like rock, maybe, possibly heavy metal, but she's into rock. She likes pop music, celebrities. She likes, like she did at school, soaps and that. I'm not sure how she is with sports. She likes helping elderly people, because I think my cousin might know her. I'm not 100% sure. She's not really a nature type person like me, like sort of likes the countryside. She's more sort of like bars, clubs, which is okay, but not sort of that sort of way in life. She likes the nightclubs, socialising, meeting up with people, enjoying a night out with friends. So it's slightly different to my way of life or my interest. She's not into the new age or mystical stuff or stuff like the paranormal, ghosts or anything like that, or new age or mysticism or the cult, you know, anything like that. She's not into that at all. She's into modern things, obviously. She's not into like old stuff like I'm into, like old buildings or old like houses. She's not into that. She's into sort of modern stuff. So she's just she's into normal interests. Mine are more sort of sophisticated interests, or some people claim it's because of autism, but I don't know. But yeah, she's just into the normal sort of interests most people are into. So I have shown a couple of people a picture of her. In fact, I showed my doctor once. I've shown many people. So when it came to my doctor, he has a rational view about it. He says he can see where you're coming from, that you don't take to that sort of person. This is when I showed the picture about 10 years ago, just under 10 years ago. He says everyone's entitled to and saying that some people don't take to that right type. and says it's very true what you're saying, but it doesn't mean to say that she's ugly or anything like that. It's just the way you interpret these, where you see people. I mean, to someone else she might be a beautiful woman, or you know, and not all people go for a sexual relationship. So he sort of discussed it in a rational way, you know, being, you know, but he said he could see where I was coming from, where you don't take to that type. Says not all people do take to ladies that are that looking. So that's what my doctor's quite old, about 60 odd. So I've showed some cousins on the side of the family that fell out with me years ago that picture, but they'd seen it when I visited with my mum in 2015-2016 area. And Sadie said, "Oh, she's alright, isn't she?" Chris says, "Why don't you try and chat and speak to her?" And Robert, I think it was, Uncle Rob, he didn't really comment. He said, "Oh, I'm not keen," or something like that. He said, "I don't like that." I can't remember what he worded it as. Let me just think what he said. I can't remember what he said now. I think it was something more than that, but I just can't remember. Obviously I showed my other uncle on my side of the family that, and now he's what's that? I think he said that's what he said. I showed it to my cousin Matthew. He has the sort of same he sort of thinks the same as me. I don't think I've ever shown Jay. I've spoken to my brother, shown my brother. My brother doesn't see her as being ugly or anything. He just says, "Have you tried speaking to her or sort of chatting to her?" Or it might not be a type of person you fancy, whatever, but sort of mentioned like that. I said, not really. And not really any comments when I showed my mum or dad. So it's sort of they're here and there basically with Lisa, but they've all told me don't insult her, you know, sort of, you know, everyone, not all people are the bestest of lookers, you know, and that's what I try to say myself at times, you know. So that's all that. So basically they're telling me that I'm supposed to go with the Lisa type. Is going back to what I was mentioning when we're bringing up while people are bringing up this Grace in conversations, which it seems to be a regular thing at the moment, because they seem to have a problem with me interacting with that person somewhere or someone. I'm not saying it's a neighbour, it could be outside, but someone somewhere is moaning about it, and it's turning out quite nasty. The other problem I want to mention is Sadie Dando. We had these Sadie Dando threats going back when I was living in Bridgewater West Street. The last year I was there, or just over a year that I was there, that threat, or the threats with that specific person dropped, just suddenly dropped. Palace nightclub calmed down, and then obviously when I was at Burnham-on-Sea for 8 years, initially there was a few threats here and there mentioning that specific person's name, but all in all it just basically died out completely, near enough completely. The first year I moved to Yeovil, there wasn't that threat. Then you had that person pretending to be Scott on the phone that wanted to smash me up wanted to knife me and smash me onto the railway track at Highbridge railway track, because he was accusing me of saying that you're sick because you fancy people not in their 30s at the time, and saying you're supposed to be with an old granny, you're sick and whatever. And he met up in Bridgewater, and he went and said he'd got to be attacked, I'm afraid I've got to smash you in. And then I had to sort of shout for help because I couldn't fight the person because he's too hard build. He's too muscular, he's harder than me, there's nothing you could do about it. He's like a reptilian hybrid type build. And he also looks very similar to the person who was pretending to be the car dealer of this Michael Jackson prostitute, or what's nicknamed, or what she named herself, Jeanette. Again, she looked like Lisa Pike, and she was slightly more uglier than Lisa Pike when Lisa Pike would have been her age, but she wouldn't have been as fat build, because Lisa sort of went into negative attraction around the age of 19, and I didn't really see much of her since that time, to be fair. And this so-called single lady that's also pretending to be a prostitute or whatever, she was She said she was 18, but she looked around about the age of 22. Like I said, she wasn't very good looking, and she did a few moves and that was it, just to scam me basically, and got scammed of 800 quid, and she tried getting my card details and all the rest of it. And when she did leave, she just left, and that evening or a couple of nights after, there was a few threats saying that I wanted his card details because I wanted him robbed, and thinking that I was Seven, and it was in the days of the early Seven threats. So there was quite a lot of shouting and arguments of people passing my place the day after that night, and 3 days after there was a plethora of problems outside my place. Also, not long after that, one of the neighbours was speaking to someone else, because all the neighbours in the building, apart from the eye problem which was occurring from whatever was causing that while I was being there, the neighbours had a conversation in the corridor regarding this issue of that. Did you see that lady speaking in conversation right outside my door? They didn't expect me to hear it, and what happened is before that time, the neighbours were making sort of gunshot noises. They weren't too happy with me, but it's around about that time of when that prostitute scammed me for basically no sex. It's the same time period all the neighbours calmed down, and you didn't get any trouble at all right through until I left there. So they think it's someone called Dan that set it up. But also, what is interesting is they brought up another name of someone called Oliver. I reckon in the corridor, I don't hear it completely, and basically saying they were trying to scam him because the neighbour wants money to move out, or the new neighbour wants money to move in. I can't remember which way around it was said, and I think it's caused by Dan. I don't know if they mean Dan, my ex-mugger, or whether they mean a different Dan, but they said it's caused by Dan, unless there was a Dan that used to live there. They said they know he's a vulnerable person, they know he's not had anyone, and they know that he's got autism or whatever, or he's not well, and they're picking on him deliberately, and they find him an easy target. That's what the neighbour said in the corridor. Although there's been ups and downs since that time with the neighbours, because some of the neighbours thought I was Seven, the good news is, in the last days that I was there before I moved out of there, quite literally all the neighbours are okay with me. And I saw Samantha Hillman, who's an old school friend I knew at Elmwood School, the same day I left, or the same time period I left. And she only just remembers me, and she looks quite old now. She looks like a granny, but you know, we're all getting old, you know. And this is why, you know, when it comes to sexuality, it's getting very serious. But you know, people have left me in jeopardy. You know, they want to see me sexually abused as a child, stop from getting anyone, and that's the end of it. Which is not good, because a previous clairvoyant, I saw a clairvoyant 15 years ago, just over 15 years ago, who does past life readings, and she said I was sexually abused as a girl in my last life, and I was stopped from getting anyone, and she as good as put it as that. And I worked in a laboratory, and then I died tragically as a female in my early 20s in my previous life. So she thought this life's going to get better. She says, this life you'll be entitled to a sex partner, you'll be entitled to all this stuff that you didn't get in your last life. Well, that wasn't to come true, because what happens? My life just gets 15 times worse, and I still not had sex in my life properly. So, you know, no sex. And then what happens with the setups that occur around me all the time? They're basically telling me that when I'm dead, I'm being ripped to pieces in my next life, and making sure that they're going to make sure that I get sexually abused in my next life before ripping me to pieces and stopping me get sex in my next life as well. That's triple jeopardy. So if you want to believe in the Christianity religion, believe in Jesus helping people, then quite simply, he's fucking turned, if that's the case. It shouldn't happen 3 times, you know, in 3 lives. And not, at the same time, I'm being accused of being a sick bastard when I've never had anyone, and it's persistent. And 99.9% of all problems that I've mentioned, or you know, what's happened in my life, people starting on me or whatever, as I said, 99.9% of all problems I've had in my life from people out there is because of sexuality, or some form of sexuality. Every single arrest, including the Bomb Hinkley Point graffiti that I got in trouble for, all comes back to sexuality. but there's a lot of other things that have occurred as well, especially in that time period. And at the time I did that, I got in trouble with the police, and obviously the police said, whatever you do, don't write that. Said, we don't want you doing anything bad, but that in particular you can't do, because you're risking your own life if you're doing that. And the police give me a warning saying, just don't do that for your own. We're concerned about the safety of your life more than anything when it comes to that writing. So I haven't done that. And over the years the police got on alright with me up until I moved to Yeovil, and then they took a turn again. But since the last days of living at Bridgewater West Street, and since I've been at Burnham-on-Sea, the police have been okay with me. And but when I came to Yeovil, and they handed the organisations over to different organisations of social workers, support workers, there's a lot of things that are lost, because there's a lot of stuff that's stated as well that's not true, and they knew about it at my old place, but when they handed the documentation over to the new support workers, social workers at this place, they haven't given mouth. They've lost, stuff's been lost, and they're only going by the details on the sheet and not the sceptical things of what they should be saying, what they knew, and then it's all falling against me. And that's why we're all getting, and there's a possibility why all the threats are coming back with just like the Sadie threats, because like, you know, a decade without the Sadie threats, the Sadie down threats, and it just suddenly occurs after 2022, straight after that incident where that person wanted to attack me that I've just mentioned. So yeah, the Sadie Dando threat is causing a lot of trouble over that at the moment. It's been very bad this year. In actual fact, it's been as bad as what it was. I don't know, it's hard to say. You had a lot of the threats in the early days, like 2008, or a bit in 2008, 9, 10, 11, to about 2011 I guess. It was bad. It's gone back to that. I mean 2012, 13 or whatever, it was sort of died out. And like I said, it didn't really happen when I was at Burnham-on-Sea, or the first year I was at Yeovil, just and it's sort of just picked up. Anyway, let's get to the next problem that's increasing at the moment, and this is claiming that I stole Sam Gotzell's push bike, which is one of the neighbours. Now obviously that's not true. I'm not exactly sure who's stolen it, and I made it clear to staff because I found out by him himself. That's the first time I heard about it. And this is before the CCTV started being broken or going down as well. This is going through a stage when the CCTV was still up. So I said it'd be on CCTV. Because I said to the staff when I found out about it later on, Emily was working at that time, and she said, we know it's not you because we checked your flat at the time it occurred. But they changed their story later on, about a year and a half later, and said, Helen was saying we don't check people's flats if anything goes missing. I just said something like that. But they said that they know it's not me. In a time period, also, it's very rare that I was going out after 10 o'clock. And every single time that I had gone out, since I moved there, until I heard about the missing bike, I always phoned the staff up. This is every single time I went out. Phone the staff up to let them know that I had problems when I went out, because I was getting a lot of problems just posting a letter or getting some fresh air in that time period. And it's very, very rare that I went out after that time because of the noise and the violence that was occurring in the building, and I didn't feel like it was a good idea to go out passing specific neighbours or unhappy people that were visiting the building back in 2021, 2022. And then obviously it's hardly ever that I went out after 10 o'clock, maybe to take a rubbish bag to the outside bin. And then obviously now things are a bit calmer, and we've got not so bad, or the friends of specific neighbours are not friends with that specific neighbour anymore, or whatever. Things are a lot more calmer, and I'm able to go out most nights just to sit in the garden without any problems at all. But back in that time, it was very rare I'd go out. Unfortunately, I'm being accused of stealing this bike and being told I'm getting burgled and having a break-in, and things are getting quite nasty about that at the moment. Again, I don't know if it's outside or whether it's a neighbour, but that's kicking off at the moment. People are getting fucking angry with me about that. So I've had to keep on mentioning it to staff, obviously, and I've had to mention it to the support worker, because obviously I'm not happy about being accused of something I haven't done. So that's on a height at the moment for some reason. It's just suddenly kicking off. So yeah, it's getting a bit out of hand at the moment, so all over the place. And there's one thing that was said in particular, which is actually last week. Oh no, and there's also something that was said last night. Let me try and think what it said last night. It was said, stole Sam's push bike, no ice cream said, or something like that. Now I don't know what that means, but something like that was said. And something about Grace, saying he's not having, saying like, stop him getting Grace because he stole Sam's push bike. No, this is just going on and on, you know, sort of similar threats. But there's never been this frequent. Both the Sadie and the bike issue has just suddenly increased for 2024. I mean, there's been lots of threats banging in sequence to threats. I mean, we started January, had some eye problems in January for a few days. Then I had the burning sensation occur, and the burning was really bad, so I had to stay at my dad's because of this intense burning. I don't know what's causing it, but I was getting very, very sore burning from something that's using in the building. But the next bit of bad news, I'll give you a bit of a conspiracy about this as well. The CDs that I had, my Dark Ambient CDs, I had a collection of 32 of them, which I've been collecting because whatever was causing eye problems at my old place damaged all my Jungle CDs. So I bought a load back when I moved to Thorn House, like cheap ones off of eBay or whatever. And those few discs that I had, that I rebought or whatever, I decided to save them to the computer and burn them to some M discs. 2 of the M discs that I did it on got stolen in the post. There's 2 at my father's, they're fine. And there's 2 at my place, which are wrapped up in a specific type of fabric to protect it from signals in the air. But whether that does, I don't know. I have to just hope that it's not broken when I play it next. But I dare open it or do anything like that because I don't know if any damage will occur. So, but what happened is at my old place, whatever was causing my eye problem damaged all the CDs and I lost all my Jungle music. Then I lost all my records because the records, the ones I bought back anyway, I had against a radiator, and one of the staff workers, which wasn't done on purpose, it wasn't done on purpose, it was accidental. So I couldn't really do nothing because she didn't realise. She was only trying to help, you know, cool the room down, which, you know, it really did need cooling down because that fucking room gets hot. So she opened all my windows. This is in April 2022. And I had my vinyl against the radiators, all old school Jungle vinyl, with tracks like Pesce World of Music Infrared Records, the original 12-inch with Eamon Rip Hop Cries on it on the B-side. And then also obviously you had the Anthill Mob 123 Adrian Blunt remix Underdog recordings. You had Making Ground, Take Me Higher, Ragga Mix, which is a Photech recording, Rupert Parks. You also had Nut E1 off the Nut EP, Liquid Affray and Underwater Fireworks. You had Legendary Volume 1, Spin Back and Gwange, The Execution and Deep Concentration. Then you had Legendary Volume 3, which is Lee and Tango Solutions and Lee and Gwange Too Deep. Then you had Rev P 1994, which had the track Rhythm Process on the other side. Don't like Rhythm Process, I only like the track called 1994. The catalogue number for that record is IMP22, and it's on Impact Recordings. And you can't get that one either, it's not on the internet. And most of these records are in fair condition or good condition with lots of scratches. And they're charging 80 quid a record, 200 quid a record because of rarity, because you know, they lost the recordings, and you know, so I can't buy them back, it's just too expensive. But I lost all these records. I mean, back in the time when I sort of lost it was probably about 1,500 quid that I had to lose in vinyl. I probably didn't, you know, because I bought it as special. I thought I needed some music for when I moved, and I thought, and back at that time I had more money as well, because this is before they cut my benefits and all the rest of it. And now I have hardly anything in the bank. It's a lot different, you know. and this is sort of rebuying records back that I gave Lewis, which is a friend on Facebook, because after I bought them and took my music off, and they were cheaper back in those days, you could get a mint condition Legendary Volume 3 for 20 quid, and so like 4 quid postage. Now you're looking at like 200, 300 quid for the same record today. It's just suddenly gone up and shot in price. So the rarity, you know, so yeah, that's what happened. There was other tracks as well, mind. Intense, Paradox, Rugged Vinyl Records, the original press in mint condition, Rugged 7. Then you had Intense, a Genesis Project EP, which also got damaged. I got that, what else? Oh god, the Alliance First Impressions, that's right. I had that one. Legend Records or Reinforced Records. There's 2 versions of that, by the way. You got the one on Enforcer 6 on Reinforced Records, which was released in 1994, and you've got the 10-inch acetate press, which is on Legend Records, which I think is the one DJ Groove Rider used for Dreamscape 8, New Year's Eve 1993. So, and there's a couple of other records, I'm trying to think what they were, but can't think at the top of my head. But yeah, I left them on there too long, you see, when the heating was left on, you know, until I got back. And the time I got back, the heating had been on for a long time, and, you know, too long to rescue the records, basically, and they just burnt, they warped, you know, so you could actually smell it. But that's not the only thing that occurred. When I moved there, I had a grand money pack, so £1,000 money pack, which was basically, because I didn't know when I was going to move, I had to have that money prepared for buying things or paying bills or whatever else when I moved. But I didn't realise I was going to have it all furnished. So that money pack was safely put somewhere, and it got found and stolen. And so did the £500 money pack that I decided to save up separately to that. Just in case I had any money issues, and I thought I'd put it in a safe place. But I didn't realise that when I hid in the kitchen cupboard, that I needed to do something in the kitchen cupboard on that specific day. So it was well hidden, yeah. But the problem is, one of the housing people, or someone who had to check something, had to go in that cupboard, and that's why it got stolen. So then I had to reduce it to 200 or 250, I can't remember what it was. And then I just put that safely at my place, which was safe for a year, or just under a year. But then it got found. No, that's wrong. No, that's the one. No, sorry, that's wrong. That's the other one I'm on about. No, this is the one I forgot to hide, and I went out, and when I came back it was gone. I went on the bus, sorry. That's right. I'm thinking of the other money pack, the grand one. Yeah, so anyway, these dark ambient CDs were anything from like Dahlia's Tear to Metatron Amiga, Atrium Carceri, to Agasonus, Proto U, and there's a few others as well. I'm trying to think what they are. I can't remember, but I had like 32, I think it is, of those CDs, and I paid anything from sort of 18 quid to 50 quid maybe, and then I was saving them at my place, putting them in storage or at my nan's before I moved to Yeovil. They have been alright, those discs have been fine, and so were the Jungle CDs that I saved and managed to burn that I got off eBay. But since this burning sensation occurred in February, it happened between November last year of 2023 and February 2024, whatever's causing the burning in my place, or whatever's happened, seems to have damaged those discs and none of them play. So when I went to my father's in February and March, and I tried those discs on 3 different players, disc drives and CD players, none of them played, yet the ones I had there were working fine, so I had to chuck them out. In today's price, because the cost has gone up on these specific albums, you're looking at about £1,500 to replace them, possibly more. So that's all through as well. But there is a few tracks that are rescued on that 40 track disc I did, with the 2 copies that I posted to my father's and the 2 at my place that were put in like protection fabric from radiation signals after I burned them. So I still got 4 copies, but there's only 40 tracks. I think there's 35 old school jungle tracks, 1 disco breaks track, which is P Wheatley and P Ross Back to Basics, which is only 3.5 minutes long or something like that. And then you had Ultravox Vienna, because I had to put another few tracks on there because I didn't have enough jungle tracks to put on there. And obviously the other track that was rescued was the ones on the spare Dark Ambient, where I bought 2 copies, which I managed to put Atrium Carceri's Eschatology on it, Atrium Carceri's The Way Down, Dahlia's Tear Crystalline, and I think that's it. Yeah, so there's a few tracks. It came to 40 in total, and that's all I could do. And you know, I could only put 40 on there anyway, not only because I was struggling to find the tracks, but burning the CDs was an issue, because I bought these M discs. Initially I had a load of M discs that I bought in the day when they were cheap, but they've gone up in price now. So in today's value, the banging, or the costs, where neighbours were banging and stopping me burning discs, came to £1,400. But when I realised that I burnt all those discs and did about so many copies, can't remember how many copies did, but I did quite a few of the same disc to make sure that I don't lose that music. It turns out that when I saved the tracks, there's phone signals or some interference on over a quarter of the tracks on the discs, so I ended up chucking them, and I've lost it. So that was that. So what happened then is I redid it. Luckily I managed to do it in a time period later on of 2023, I think it was, when there was a quiet stage, and I saved all those tracks again. Just before, yes, and that's been into November part, where it comes into that gap where in November, and you know, and I did those discs. So that's right. Yeah. I was sort of trying to work out. And then straight after that, that's when all the discs fucked up. I also managed to do another couple of discs of my family photos, as the banging wasn't too bad in that time period, but it started to escalate later on, and then obviously that's something else I lost. My photos, family photos, and my photos, because it was in the same package as the 2 other discs when I posted those discs to my mum, and it got stolen in the post. Something I did myself, which was the biggest mistake ever, was also in 2022, I think, or 23, I can't remember the year now. If it was 23, it'd be the earliest part of 23. I did burnt some CDs, some M discs, the Music Electronica series, where I did like 3 discs, one with like a full disc, one just under 3/4 of a disc, and half a disc of just my favourite old school tracks, the ones that are rescued from going back in 2015, 2016. What happened was, as I was on the gin and I was on the vodka and Jägermeister, I was drinking bad, and there was times where I was smoking as well, because I sometimes buy a pouch of tobacco and smoke it, where it got to a stage where I put a rubbish bag there, because I was going to go out for a day or camp or whatever, or I was thinking of doing that at that time. So I made it look like a rubbish bag, and I put the discs in there. Well, I got pissed one night and accidentally chucked the wrong bag out, and then I realised that when I chucked the bag out, that I actually chucked the wrong bag out. That's the biggest mistake I've ever made, and I thought I'd lost all my music, and I have, because I don't have it backed up anywhere else. So I lost all those jungle tracks. And because a lot of these tracks are not official tracks, that are, you know, they're sort of pirate, sort of old school tracks, it means that I can't re-get them on the internet, because they've tightened up all the laws on the internet. and I can't rebuy them because you can't, it's just not possible basically. So it's sort of, I do have that 40 tracks that I redid, the 35 jungle tracks, the 1 track or whatever, the Ultravox Vienna, and the 3 dark ambient tracks, but that is it. But it's better than nothing. But obviously those 2 copies I can't take from my dad. They've got to stay there until I move from that place, because I shall have to take from those 2 discs to save those tracks in the future when I move again. But if this was to happen when I move again, and those 2 discs get damaged, I've lost all my music forever. And I did stay at my dad's recently, obviously, where I managed to put my MP3 player and save those tracks in MP3, while at my dad's, so means I got music to listen to on my MP3 player, so I haven't lost all my music. But you're just relying on those 2 discs. The next bit of bad news is, it has also occurred in March. I paid to rent a garage to store my stuff in, and it got broken into. So I lost all my spare M discs. I lost all my family documentation, all my music, all my kind of mystical stuff or new age sort of stuff, kind of new age stuff, more towards the sort of spiritual side. And I lost my clothes, other bits and pieces like whatever I had there. The whole lot went missing. So I had a big argument. I went down there with a big argument, because at the same time that occurred, they wouldn't compensate me or refund me of the payments I made. Then they complained, saying that talking about the insurance, that you should have insured it. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, obviously there's only one CCTV camera there, and that's where you drive in. So, but the bit of bad news is, it gets even worse, because in the time period that occurred, they stepped up all this action against me and all the threats of mistaking me as Sven, starting on sexuality and giving me a hard fucking time on sexual grounds, threatening to fucking bash my head in, fucking knife me and all the rest of it, when I've not had anyone in my whole life. And it all fucking kicked off right at the same time, all that time. And then there was a whole load of just anything from coughing and sneezing in my face, timing vehicles to smash into me, nailing, just getting aggressive with setups, right on top of when that happened. And I nearly I nearly lost it. I managed to keep my temper. It did go into a bit of graffiti, mind, and it was, it nearly went into criminal damage, because obviously I could only hold in so much, with all the power of trouble that was being put against me, and it's only just worsened and worsened as well, especially since the 6th of July 2024. And obviously you've got to take into account, I've had to sort of empty my bank just to buy the protection for the 2 discs that I took from my dad to take back to my place, with the other 2 staying there, so that I can keep 2 copies at my place out of 4 copies of those discs. Though I got to rely on those 2 discs only at my dad's, in case the ones that I got in this fabric get damaged, even though they're back at my place, because I don't know. But in total there's 4, because there was 6 altogether. I did 6. There was my photos 1 and 2 discs that I did, and they were 2 discs, and then there was the 2 discs of the music, which I posted to my mum. So there's like 2 of each. There's 6 altogether. So there's 6 lots of what I just mentioned. So 1 was taken to my father's. No, 2 were taken to my father's. 1 was posted to my mum. Got sold in the post. The ones at my father's, I've got the ID protection sheet. I took those 2 back after I put it in the protection sheet to come back here. There's no guarantee that they'd be safe, but it's better to have a copy at 2 places than just 1 place. And then later on, presumably if the going's good, I'll have 4 copies. If not, I'll just have the 2 copies at my dad's. But the 2 copies at my dad's I can take off in the future when I move to save my music again. So it's not too much of a problem, but I have lost everything else in my life. Everything's gone because of these situations. I mean, I'm lucky to have my life story packed, or deep depression or whatever, because there was a time when I used to sort of hide discs out or whatever, but the problem is, when you bring them back, the winter temperatures or the climate change or different weather messes up all the discs, including those M discs, even though they claim to be good discs. What happens is they just sort of, I wouldn't say it crumbles the inside as such, it just seems, well, it's hard to explain. And sometimes where they stick them down, you can pick the CD up and the plastic will just come off the disc. It's the same with all my discs, but they're not designed to be kept outside. When they say they last for like 100 years or whatever, those M discs, they're referring to being kept in a cool place indoors, or in a place indoors that's dry, not left in conditions like outside. So it's not a good idea leaving stuff outside. If you're going to leave stuff outside, the safest thing you could do is make sure that if I don't do this anymore for several reasons, but if I was to put anything outside just to hide, it'd be a USB stick, and I wouldn't believe that. But then again, it would rust. In the winter, it would rust. So I don't know really. I think basically all you can do is put it in a place in the building and just hope for the best that it's not going to get damaged from energy weapons, because that's another thing. Something wiped off my hard drives at my old place. Whatever was causing the eye problem wiped off the hard drives and USB sticks. But nobody takes it seriously when I mention it to a social worker, support worker, or doctor, or whatever. They just keep on saying it's caused by schizophrenia, but there's not much you can do about it. So I remember going back just under 20 years ago. There's a couple of enemies that made up with me because they could see that my life was pretty low, and they found out that I didn't have anyone or no sex, and that was back then. Let alone today, and that's before times got 20 times fucking nastier and rougher. They said the police shouldn't be arresting you at all until you've had sex with a sexual female. They literally said that. It's in the Deep Depression Life Story Pack, in the earliest ones. Today, that'd be impossible what they said back then, and I've been arrested many times since that time. That was said, but that's what was said. So we're in a different time. It's just been full evil right through my time. But now I've got nothing, literally nothing. I mean, my money in my bank, that's nothing as well. Quite literally, nothing. Apart from those discs that are at my dad's, those 2 discs, I've lost all my music. Unless those 2 discs that are wrapped up in this protection sheeting remain okay from when I wrapped it at my dad's to bring back to my place to leave safely there. I can't open them, you see. You've got to wait until a later time. I can't do it there because whatever's causing this burning seems to be damaging discs. So I don't have a clue what they're using or what's causing it. But whatever's occurring there, it does show up to 7. There's low numbers, but it shows up to 7 on the nuclear radiation detector. I have a upside down sort of a Q without the top, so like a Y sort of looking, and it says 2 other numbers. So you've got 000 point whatever, and it sort of goes to 007 or something like that. On the EMF meter, it's in the red, mostly bouncing about in the red, but sometimes like a switched on red. On the radiation detector with the round ball on it, I used to have it, I don't have anymore because it's broke. It showed up something like 13,000, but I don't know what that means in numbers. I haven't got a clue. I don't know what level it's measuring at, or what they mean by the numbering, or what frequency it's tuned into. There's been a few other things that have occurred when I've experienced the burning at my place. Overheating batteries when they're about to explode. The other thing is the MP3 player exploded on the kitchen floor and caused a fire, which I managed to put out. Made quite a big bang for a little MP3 player, which was in April. Also the mouse or the movement on the computer sometimes operates by itself, or things close or open, or the computer just switches down for no reason. There seems things like that are occurring. Something's messed up the dial in the on the you know, the temperature gauge in the kitchen, that doesn't operate, something's broken that. And the numbering on the I've forgotten what it's called. I've forgotten. Well, the numbering of the clock that it shows on the digital clock on the thing, whatever it's called, is also messed up. It's just showing bright lights in the spectrum of 888 sort of thing, showing the number of lighting go. It doesn't work. That also occurs while in the time period burning's occurring. So that's that on that story. Right, let's discuss a little bit more on sexuality, shall we? Right, so there's quite a few people I've known that are female in my lives, but most of them are turned against me, or people have turned them against me. Right, since sort of, I guess there's sort of, well, it's hard to describe. I'm trying to think. I can't even bloody remember the names. I mean, I only recently done this documentary a year ago. I'm trying to think. I think it's Polly or Julia. That's not the same Julia that I mentioned earlier, by the way. That's the Sun Curse. I think that's the name. I can't remember. It might have been Polly. There's someone that I knew from Lavington that was single, just a little bit older than me, but sexual, smooth skin, sort of blonde, the type all my enemies are fucking, you know, that sort. When I got to know her, a problem we had there is she came into money. They won the lottery or something, and they deserted the area, moved on, and she went with a celebrity instead. So that's one story. There's been a couple of people that have told me that they've been paid to turn against me when it comes to sexual women, and they sort of let that information loose, but they didn't say who by or whatever, but they have mentioned it. And again, this is all before 2007. And they're saying that they paid enemies to turn against me going back in that time period. And it works, you know, they do turn money rules, but I've never found out why or who's paying them to turn against me. I knew Amy Weston for a short period of time when I was living in North Petherton years ago. She was a couple of years younger than me. Then she knew Mike, and she went to Mike's, which is I've forgotten his surname. Well, what else was I going to say? Years later, she got in sexual relationships with people. I don't want to say about her 5,000 friends in her friends list on her old Facebook account that goes up to the age of when she was about 28, something like that. But to what I've been told, if she's got friends, let's say that they've had a good time, but with 5,000 people, I'll leave that one for you to decide. But you're not going to find anyone sexy. The nearest person that you probably get to someone that looks like Amy Weston, and she still looked like this up until recent times, say about 5 years ago, something like that. She was actually sexier looking or smoother skin than Gabby Borges, and she's only in her teens, and that's today, and that was at the age of say 30ish. She would have still been sexier looking, or as men would see as sexier looking, at the age of 30 than Gabby Borges was in America at the age of 18. So you can just see the difference. And Gabby Borges is an American actress, singer from Texas or Florida. I'm not sure exactly what part of America it is, but it's, that's what I believe where she is. Today she's currently in her mid-20s or something like that. So she looks slightly more negative than how Amy Weston looked at 30 at the age of 25, just to give you some idea of what a sort of sexual looker she was. Those people that she's been with, believe it or not, have over the years threatened to smash me and knife me dead. Same sort of threats these bearded people give me, or the speak types of people mistake me as Saved. Yet they've had sex with those types of people that look like Amy, or Amy herself. Then they twisted the music industry against me, claiming that I'd been with Amy, especially with the named pop band group called Scooter. Obviously they're crooked tracks that are twisted, but it's mainstream music, that's the thing. You get that with mainstream music, you don't get it so much with the underground stuff. A lot of the stuff that's twisted against me seems to be mainstream in the modern hip-hop tracks. They've had tracks accusing me of being with Stephanie Jill, or whatever her surname is, in a sexual relationship, where they messed up in the past on music tracks. So then you've had other tracks where they brought out where it says like fuck you harder, doodle do, whatever it says. You know, so there's many different tracks that they've twisted, and they're all mainstream music. So yeah, I'm very annoyed by this. I'm trying to think. There's so many incidents where I've done documentaries on this and just lost what to say today. I just don't know how to put it, because there's too many people to mention, you know. But whoever it is, all these sexual ladies have never liked me. The nearest type of female to like me, up until the age of when I was about 30ish, would be the sort of dark haired type, with the two long pieces of hair down the sides of each side of the face type of style of girls. Very similar looking to Kimberly Cox, who's someone Sadie Dando knows. That type used to like me up until I was about the age of 30. Just over the age of 30. I've never really seen a Britney Spears type of person throughout my whole life. But her appearance in a woman or that type actually do like me. Or there was one that liked me, and this was at Bideford, where someone passed me on a day out with my father, my brother, and whoever it was on that specific time period. So that one and only person that looks like Britney Spears is the only person I've seen that looks like Britney Spears, possibly in my whole life. But that type does like me, which came to a shock, to be honest, because I'm not usually liked by females that would suggest that, basically. So I had to stop the recording because I lost my bearings, because I'm not completely with it. I guess the sun's got a lot to do with it, because it just makes you feel fucking suppressed when it's sunny all the time and just don't feel like doing nothing. It just fucks your mind up. But yeah, so there's a few females that have sort of liked me or whatever in my life, but most of them have been taken from me, or stopped, or just don't like me in general, or just turned because they've got a dry and sarcastic way of I'm trying to think. Just get that bag out into the shade a minute, because I'm fed up with drinking more water. Right, so oh god, trying to think. Mine's not with it. Out of all the females that I knew in 2019, I think it's the 1st of December as a sign of the first corona outbreak in China, the start of all of it. I think it's that final day, it's the final day I found out that someone became a single mother, and it's out of all the people I know that are female that I could possibly ask, that I know to some extent, that's a single mother, and it's too late. When I discovered it's too late, I knew that there was nobody at all. That was the final person, which would have been the same day this coronavirus outbreak began in China. However, you did have that Gemma, who I spoke to on the beach. Gemma, but not good enough to say that she knows me, and when she had a letter that I left in her shop to ask if she wants to go for a coffee and get to know each other, that turned into a massive argument on the phone, where she's saying, "Who the hell do you fucking think you are? Adding a 31-year-old fucking lady, you sick bastard, you sick fucker," and saying you're 39 or whatever it was, and something like that. I can't remember what she said now, but yeah, she got quite nasty about it, and said she was threatening to get the police, and then eventually said, no, I won't get the police, but I'm keeping that letter. And she says, I will have you fucking beaten to death and all the rest of it. It's just, you know, saying, what people I got around me, you just fucking fucked up big time, you lost your life. And they said, bye, as she put the phone down. So that's the best it gets. There's actually only one person left I can think of. There's a possibility. I mentioned this person earlier. I won't say who it is because I don't embarrass myself. It's likely not to come true anyway. She's not the bestest of lookers either. I can fancy her, but she's not. And obviously you've got to think about people in the Yeovil area now, because it's too late for anyone in the past, because all the people in the past have all fallen against me. When I spoke to prostitutes, I spoke to one Asian prostitute about 10 years ago, just under 10 years ago, just in conversation, not for sex, because she's in a different area, in a different part of the country. Even she had the intelligence to know that people were moaning about the age, so I said about this. I said, so they're moaning about the age gap, and she agreed they are, and said, so how would it work with you? Do you would you be moan about age? I said, would you go with someone 60 or whatever, being a teenager or whatever? And she said, she said she's not bothered about the age of the person. She said, in our country, because she doesn't come from the UK, she says, regardless of the man's age, assuming it's someone with clean appearance, and, you know, they're quite happy to do their job as they do it. And she did agree that in the UK they don't give you sex like they do in foreign countries, it's just blowjobs. So that's another thing she verified. And also safe sex, which is where because there's two different types of sex. There's sex where, hardcore sex is where you don't wear a condom, which is known as proper hardcore, or XXX sex. And then obviously you've got safe sex, which is where you wear a condom, and you only have specific types of sex maybe while you wear a condom. Where in her country, they give it how the man wants it. A prostitute does whatever the man requires, depending on the payment situation. I've never actually been lucky enough to get anything. So I mean, we're going back to Wayne's World, to the nearest possibility of anything. I mean, we had this Jeanette prostitute who did a scam on me in a sneaky way, but it wasn't sex. It was just a sly scam. Otherwise, I've not had anything in my whole life, apart from being sexually abused as a child. That's it. And obviously, people are telling me that I'm a sick cunt if I don't go with older people. Because I'm being told to go with people twice the age of people that sexually abused me as a child, at the age they would have been at that time. I passed a woman last year or the year before, I can't remember when it was now. She was a bit uglier looking and a bit rougher skin than someone who sexually abused me as a child. So she was about 10 years, maybe 15 years older than this person who sexually abused me as a child, at the age he would have been at that time. Well, this lady that passed me that looks like this person but a bit more ugly and 15 years older than that person, she told me I was a sick cunt when I was looking at her face as walking past, because of my age today. So it just shows that people are getting nastier and nastier. People that are Christians have to follow Jesus as their saviour. There's a section that's been taken out of the Bible that they weren't allowed to put in. So they claim it's a missing piece of information or a lost gospel. It's not a lost gospel at all, because it's hidden in caves, but they're not allowed to let the public know about it. Jesus Christ had sex with a child. Her name's Mary Magdalene. She was a child prostitute, and Jesus shagged her when she was 9 or 11. I can't remember what the age it is, because some are saying 9, some are saying 11, but nothing's regarding the age of 10. Jesus was in his early 20s when he was doing it. And Jesus was saying in his scripts, or the text, or whatever you want to call it, that he was cleansing her spirit and cleansing her 7 sins by having sex with her and enjoying sex. That's what Jesus Christ was doing. Jesus Christ was enjoying sex with a child. It can't be put in the Bible, you see. So all these Christians that are worshipping Jesus Christ are actually worshipping a bloke that's had sex with a child, basically, and saying that the only way you get to heaven is to go and follow Jesus. So I'm not actually religious as such, but I've gone to these places just to socialise for coffee mornings, or to try and make friendships, or to try and find a single person. But it hasn't worked, so I've given up. And they treat you like a piece of shit and try and move you onto the religious side. And it's the same with Jehovah's Witnesses when I've gone there, because I tried to make try different places, different religions, You're just too unlucky. It's just nothing works. Everyone's in a relationship, and this is a problem on dating sites. I mentioned this before. Most people won't make friendship with you on a dating site, especially since the year 2013, unless they know you in person or in your phone's phone list. If you're not in their phone list, and this is on a dating site, they're telling you this on a dating site, and they say, even as far back as 2011, they were asking, do I know you? And you're thinking, dumb attitude like that on a dating site. Well, of course you're not going to know someone on a dating site. You've got to get to know them. That's what dating sites are for. But these people are saying, do I know you? Or I don't know you, don't have me. The speed dating agencies in Bristol, they've all closed down. Well, I didn't even know what they were until my mum mentioned it in 2014 area. And that's the time period they sort of closed down. They can get single men, but they can't get single women. They can't put the events on. They're making no money. There's nobody single. Because it's a smartphone network. Everyone that's got a smartphone seems to be in a sexual relationship. And then people want someone that's not a single mother as well, like myself, because why should I be told to go with a single mother, or to have a mistake dumped on me when I've done nothing wrong and never had anyone before? You don't treat people like fucking shit. But that's what they do. Prostitutes, they're in prostitutes. Prostitutes are gone. You've got escorts, and you've had escorts for the last 10 years. I've been on Viva Street. Before that time, I don't know, because I wasn't really searching. But they don't exist now. And because of the lockdown, these prostitutes, or whatever you want to call them, won't. Basically, they've upped the prices to about £1,000 just for a phone call. So you give them your bank details or whatever for a phone call, which costs £1,000 while you wank, where they don't have to do nothing apart from speak to you on the phone making sexual noises. That's it. That's how they work it today. Much different than what it used to be, just for a phone call. You don't actually get meetups or anything like that. There was a time where you got a blowjob, but actual real sex has not occurred since the early 2000s, and hardcore sex hasn't occurred since the 90s. I mean, I don't know this because I haven't actually gone to experience this to know the knowledge. I just know the knowledge from you can just know what been told or read things or whatever, or found out. That's how I know about that information. So believe it or not, it's going to sound sad this is, but I'm actually known as a sick cunt by Gemma Ferguson, who is nearly the age Jesus Christ was when he was crucified, just to simplify the story, if not that age now. I'm not quite sure what her age is, but I think it's 32. But next year, because Jesus was crucified at 33, some say even 34. But if we go back to the beginning of I can't remember when, it's quite recent actually, he's been in threats recently. There's someone called Alicia who's 37 or just turned 38. They're telling me I'm a sick cunt because I fancy Alicia, saying that she's 37, 38, saying that there's more than 5 years difference in age because you're 43 coming out 44 or whatever. Yeah, you got that as well, even that high age, and that's like 5 years, several years higher than the age Jesus Christ was crucified, let alone when he was in a sexual relationship. And there's even been people that have been sort of aged 35-ish that have told me to get the fuck off their stories, get the fuck off their pieces of information, don't read anything, or don't look at anything of a 35-year-old. So in some ways, if they're saying that, you might as well just set the Holy Bible alight, because you wouldn't be able to read it, because Jesus is that age or younger when he was crucified. It's be a bit like that, really. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but that's how you would have to look at it. That looks like a World War III bloody van. Not World War III, but it's got that suggestion of a nuclear war. Rather unusual suggestion, don't see that often. Okay, well, anyway, let's go back to this because I want to mention this. So, there's two Kims. One of the Kims, Sadie Downlow told me about 2016 or whatever year it was when my mum visited, saying that Kim goes for the older men. Because that's sort of the last time I spoke to her. But there's also another Kim. It was very similar to what Sadie was saying to the other Kim, Kimberly Cox, but I don't know 100% sure. Know exactly if what she's saying is actually 100%. But there is another Kim to just verify the issue that this sort of thing does occur, which is someone from the internet rather than someone in person, different part of the country. Well, not different part of the country, local enough to get to if you wanted to get to, but it would mean train trips or whatever. When she was 18, she got in a relationship with a man aged 41, and this goes back quite a few years ago. So when this bloke was 41, I would have been roughly 31. So she got in a relationship with this bloke. 20 years difference in age wasn't seen as a problem, but back then age gaps weren't as tight as what they are today. 10 years on, I asked this lady if she was single, because obviously she split up with that bloke, but unfortunately she turned out to be a single mother. When she was 28, she told me I was a sick cunt, saying there's 10 years difference in age, but she was with a man that's another 10 years on top of my age when she was younger. 10 years younger. So what's going on? You know, she was 18 and she was with someone 41 when I was 40-ish, and she was 27, 28, whatever it was. It's different, you know. Get a bit lost again. There's 10 years difference between me and her. There's 20 years difference between her and her previous boyfriend, basically, near enough, give or take a year. So why am I being told I'm a sick cunt when she's 28, when at the age of 18 she was with someone 10 years older than me? You know, at that time. So she's moaning about a 10-year gap, but she wasn't moaning about a 20-year gap 10 years before. And she's saying I'm sick because of the 10-year age gap, yet her boyfriend, there was a 20-year age gap, and that wasn't seen as sick. And you've got to take into account, when she had sex with that 41-year-old, that 41-year-old would have had the sexy, smoother skin of sex model looking attraction you have as a teenager, where at 28 she's slightly more negative, but not too much more negative, and I'm being told I'm a sick cunt for looking at that. So, you know, what's going on? What's causing it? I mean, even back in the 1990s, even in the time when they were releasing all the Underground Jungle stuff that I used to listen to, you know, that I listened to, there are people with massive age gaps, 30-year age gaps, and wasn't seen as sick. But even in recent times, this is something else that's pissed me off. This is two different races. So, there's a bloke just a bit older than me, maybe 50, and he's kissing and cuddling a lady in her early 20s, who's a dark lady, who's sort of quite smiley, she's maybe African, I'm not sure, and not African, maybe Chinese, I can't remember what race it is. Well, this bearded person looked at them like it was normal. As he passed me, he started giving me shit, thinking I'm a sicko. And I thought to myself, we just passed two people with 30 years difference in age, yet I'm the one that's being fucking dug up as a sick bastard. It's not very often that you see people with massive age gaps anymore, but they have been doing that a lot more frequently in recent times. So, and even when rough people are passing, they're not starting on these people, so what's going on? considering they're always nailing me as a sick bastard, saying there's more than just a few years difference in age. There's people 30 year difference in age or whatever, and they're getting no trouble. So, you know, and this is recently, this is the last 3 weeks. I can't remember the day, but I think I might have done it on the last couple of videos ago. It might actually already be on my new channel, I don't know, but, you know, yeah, they moan about everything. When I was using dating sites, I got a load of shit just for putting this. I said I'm a single man, never married, never been in a relationship before, trying to experience, you know, the life of having a partner in your life, and basically saying, I don't want a single mother. Just putting that caused a lot of fucking offence, and that was back when I was 30. They were just kicking off shit, giving it go, getting shitty with me, having a good go at me, just because I mentioned I don't want a single mother. But it's not my, you know, I shouldn't be with a single mother. Everyone is entitled to someone that's not a single mother. The Holy Bible says that. God's Bible. And that's the Old Testament, not the New Testament, when Jesus came to earth. This is when they were getting spiritual communication in the normal form before the Christ came to earth. And in some ways, isn't the Ten Commandments as well, if you were to look at it in that sort of way. If you read the Ten Commandments and work out, you know, you shouldn't be with someone else's mistakes. No, it's not norm. And just to clarify, in the past, especially when I was in my late 20s and early 30s, when I was messaging people on dating sites, because I spent about £9,000-10,000 wasting money. That includes the cost of going to London with my mum to go to a dating agency, which failed me because they could only offer really ugly types that are single mothers. Take that away, nothing at all out of all that money. So I've been robbed, scammed, about 10 grand. Take into account back in that time I was using this money, I was using all my support allowance or whatever allowance it was I was getting back at that time, with the money that I had left from my, and you know, wasn't hardly buying anything for myself. I was trying to get a shag, because a girlfriend, because I never had any. Then people were moaning, saying, you're just there for the sex or whatever. I said, no, I'm in a proper relationship as well. And then others are sort of complaining. I mean, as soon as they sort of hit 35, they're saying they don't want a sexual relationship. They just want a man in their life as a friendship, but no sex. Like, they want a partner, but where it contains no sex when they reach the age of 35 or 40. And once you're 40, they're all doing it. All the people on the dating sites say no sex relationship. They don't want a sexual relationship. They want a relationship, but without sex, which defeats the objective altogether. But that's the way they're doing it. So, being choked out by catalyst, fuck's sake. Right, so, I've lost what I was going to say now, give me a second. Right, yeah, I remember. And this has happened quite a few times, especially when I hit the age of around 30 to 35. When I was messaging people, because I wasn't getting any response, people were responding saying, my ex-boyfriend doesn't want you around my daughter or my child, and saying, yes, I am a single mother, but I didn't tell you that. This is when you message them, and then they say stuff like, my boyfriend's going to fucking smash you out with a knife, and saying, I can't go in a relationship with you because if my boyfriend sees me with you, he'll get a knife out and he'll fucking smash you to the floor and kick your head around like a fucking rugby ball and smash all your teeth out. So they're getting violent like that on dating sites. And I've even actually been thrown off dating sites for stuff that I haven't even done, just for responding, trying to be polite to some messages, and where they reported my channel and they've just mistaken me as a payment's been made and shut the channel down. People I tried up meeting with, the very few, it turns out that they use fake profiles and are actually ugly people. And on a couple of occasions I never got off the bus of when I bought a day ticket to try and meet up with those people. Sort of Lisa looking type, as I mentioned earlier, or the unhygienic sort of appearance, or the goofy look sort of fat build type, as I was mentioning earlier. There was times in the earlier days of 2005 onwards where they were closing shops, or there would be bus services that are shut off for the day, or there's a government organisation, bank holiday that's been organised or stuff like that, you know, or there's been a change with sort of media suggestion or people waiting outside my place when I was living in Bridgewater back in the early days to smash me out if I go out, stopping me go anywhere, on days that I wanted to try and meet up with people, and it all to come to a failure. And even the clairvoyant predictions, look at one incident just to give you some idea of what's been going on, and this happened loads and loads of times, but this is just one easy explanation just to explain one problem. Clairvoyant predicted in 1 month's time I'm going to get a girlfriend called Chloe, and thinks it's going to be the Chloe that at North Perriton that I kind of knew as a bygone, but she thinks it was going to go into a sexual relationship. She was going to be 18, but take into account I was younger at that time when this reading was given, so it's in 2011. The night I was supposed to meet her, she said, you must sort of go and walk towards your dad's for it to occur, for the reading to come true. And she says she's going to ask you out, so you're going to be shocked. When 2011 occurred, and she said it was going to occur at Carnival, it never took place, because what happened was there was a fuel explosion on the M5, and the day that the Carnival was supposed to be on, it was taken off. And then obviously I didn't bother walking to my dad's, because he had something else that he had to do, which he was going to do the following day, but couldn't do it because he was going to do it that day, because there was no carnival, so it meant that the road was clear and he could do it the day before what he needed to do. So I couldn't go up there to walk up there for this to happen, and it was put through. They've done many of things like this. They've even used the media or TV industry, like the Fathers for Justice, for example, timing a rent-a-kill van with a Connaught van and, you know, stuff to apply my name. The CCTV was broken off, the lighting system went down in my place, they extended the Palace nightclub and the Squib Club night hours, and it turned out rough as hell, and you had scaffolding around my place as they were fitting new windows in. But luckily, because it wasn't all one-sided, you had the really rough, hard types of people that were guarding the people in the building, as well as the people trying to climb the building in the early hours, shouting their heads off saying I'm going to fucking kill him on the top floor. And then obviously, because people weren't all one-sided against me, obviously people that were after me actually calmed down, because they found out people were making stuff up. It all sort of calmed down, and everybody was keeping everyone in control while this was occurring. And this is why I asked my cousins on the Dando side of the family if they could stay at my place back in that time period. But that only occurred once or twice. And then obviously we had the Sadie Dando issue that comes in after that. And then, because obviously I said she could stay if she wants to, because she'd never been up there before, and Jason came with her. But then obviously twists went around and they started accusing me of this and that, so that was the end of that. And then obviously they started accusing other people, family members, relatives or whatever, of a similar scenario, and another person as well, which used to be one of Jason's friends. However, in recent times they found out that all this is not true, and they're sort of okay with me, and I've spoken to basically every member of that family in the last few years, in fact, on the visits to Bridgewater, and the time I know they got attacked back in 2022 when I saw them as there as well. The only one I haven't seen was Sadie, but I did see her in 2016, 2015 when my mum went and visited down there, so that's that. I mean, there's a lot of people that have turned against me. I mean, there's females that I've known, or there's been females. What happened was, is somewhere in the 2016, 2018 area, sightings occurred where the Cevennes threats come in, which never existed ever before that time. And the Liam came in just a bit after, though when I was looking at the Deep Depression Life story packs, it does appear that it could have been before the Cevennes threat. But the Liam threat was quite bad. There's more Liam threats in the year 2018 period onwards than the sort of 2017, 2018 period than there was the Cevennes. But the Cevennes I thought came first, but I'm not quite sure. They both came in early, so whatever time it was that they came in, the Cevennes threat didn't occur December 2016 is the first of the Cevennes threats that I ever had. because people thought I played a guitar and was threatened to smash me in. Because I was sort of laughing at the person that said it. I thought I was just going to believe that with me playing all the old school tunes on the white speaker thing on the beach. But as the days go down and all the rest of it, the worse it gets, it does turn out people are brainwashed and they do actually believe I'm that person. And I get it everywhere I go, you know, beyond belief. But there's nothing you can do about it. So, you know, that's that. Right, let's go to the next bit a minute, because I've forgotten what I was going to say for the rest of that. Going back to the threats I've been getting lately, it seems to be centred along 3 specific threats, and that's accusations claiming I molested Sadie when I've never had sex with her, and the same with Sam's bike. I've never stolen Sam's bike and I'm being accused of that. And the other thing that they're moaning about is saying that you fancy Grace. Those 3 things seem to be causing a lot of trouble at the moment. 2 of those things, you know, are not applicable. The third thing seems to be more of a sort of goes into what I was saying earlier on, where people are moaning about because her age is different to my age. It's causing a lot of issues to occur. It's like the colour of your skin. A lot of people moan about the colour of your skin. It's not just the age. I mean, a lot of the people there's more that moan about the age, yes, but when I was using these sort of dating sites before 2018 or whatever, they're also moaning because I'm white, you know, the colour of my skin. But age seems to be the main problem, followed by the colour of your skin or race. But yeah, these 3 things seem to be causing a lot of banging in the building. So there's a lot of banging, so there seems to be a lot of sort of banging, and unhappy sort of banging, and there seems to be sometimes shouting as well. So, but it seems to be getting worse. Although things have been a bit calmer since that neighbour got evicted from trying to knife down the staff door on the 2nd of May, which is actually Sadie's birthday, in fact. Things have been a bit calmer, but it hasn't been perfect. So, but at the moment it seems to be the things escalating at the moment. They don't like it because I speak to this neighbour called Grace. Someone doesn't like it, or somewhere along the lines is causing problems. There's something, I don't know what it is, but whatever's going on, those 3 things seem to be why it's all kicking off at this minute in time. You don't usually get females making threats. There seems to be a lot of female threats that are occurring in the buildings or around the building as well at the moment. There's one thing that has been said recently, and that is this is by a female. It's supposed to be release adjust or something like that. And the other thing is sort of said like this. And what was it? 22 to 26, or 40 to 40, no, 41 to 45, something like that's being said. I can't remember what the figures are. I can't remember if they said just or said, and that's been said quite frequently. It's by female, but I don't know who. So that's just an interesting piece of information. Possibly outside, I don't know. But I mean, it seems very. I don't know why people seem to be so obsessed with age. Because when it comes to men or whatever, you go on the back of toilet doors in public places, you're getting gay men saying 18 looking for a fuck, or something like I got some fucking cock, or cock rim, and saying I'm 18 looking for guys up to 55 or stuff like that. And this is like an 18-year-old. But when it comes to females, they seem to have that obsession of problems with the age. I mean, these are currently on doors, and it's not written by me either. There's nothing to do with me. These are literally. However, what I will say is a lot of the stuff that have been written on these doors in recent times are becoming less frequent, and it seems to be more in the way of violence being. When I've gone to use public toilets to go for a piss and I've seen what's been written on the doors, a lot of it's been cleaned off, but there's also stuff that's still on these doors, or stuff that hasn't been cleaned off. And there does seem to be a lot of violence that's being replied to most of these gay people, saying, any fucking gays there, I'll fucking knock your fucking teeth, I'll knock you all flying, I'll meet up with you, alright? You know, sort of putting that on the back of doors. So I don't know if they're going more underground or how they're communicating with each other these days, but this has been going on for quite a few years. It's not something new either. I see, if we go back about 7-8 years ago is when I saw that sort of change on the back of doors, you know. In Taunton you got saying that I want to meet at Firepool for a gay fuck or whatever and stuff like that on the back of toilet doors. Again, people in their 20s, you know, if they're men, people in their early 20s are looking for guys older than me, you know. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, they want to fuck, you know, and it's seen as a norm. But if it's a female, you're known as sick. So, what's going on? And the other thing I want to mention is there's been, like, on the Yeovil toilets, before they closed them down, there's graffiti showing a picture of, like, a voodoo doll or some form of death symbol to the people, and sort of mentioning and complaining about gays that meet up in the toilets, basically. And this is written on, like, the wood at the top, so they must have used a ladder or something. I'm not quite sure how they got up there, but you wouldn't be able to stand on the toilet and get up there, but because it's got a high roof. But someone somewhere has managed to get up there and do all that, and yes, there's quite a lot of things that are going on. So these people that used to write on the back of the doors, I'm not quite sure how they meet up or engage in their gay activities or whatever, but I can tell you now, it's a lot different to what it used to say on there. You've always had people having arguments on there saying, get out of my way, you queer, you're a fucking bumboy, or stuff like that. But the violence or the murder talk or the stuff to say any gays meet up, I'll fucking knock your fucking brains out or fucking knife you down outside the fucking toilets or in toilets at the time you meet up or whatever and take your fucking life, is a lot more dangerous. They closed the Cornhill toilets in 1995 area because there was a murder, I think, and that's in Bridgewater. So even back then, but it was more like a place. What they were using that for is they were meeting up, not for gays, but they were meeting up to smash people out in there. And they were using it as like a smash out place rather than a gay operation of where people meet up. And it just caused a lot of violence. I think it's 95 it closed down. It's like an underground toilets, opposite where Quick Save used to be in Bridgewater. So where the Cornhill Market is, and you used to have like glass on top before they put slabs over it or whatever, and you could see the Victorian glass, which is like if I remember, it's like a greenish colour where you could see the top, you know, the light coming through from the top into the blues below. So, but like I said, that's been closed down for 30 years. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff that used to be on the back of the doors is a lot different than what it used to be. It's sort of, I'd say it's about 7 years ago roughly when all this sort of changed, or people started getting different. So, although that's not applicable to me, it's just worth mentioning. It's just something interesting worth mentioning, you know. It's definitely different today. People's minds are different. People's accents are different as well. If you go back to the 1990s, your average rough person would have an accent you could understand. So if we look at good-looking records that were shown on, I can't remember, it was BBC Two or something like that, 9 or 10 o'clock at night back in 1996 area, there's one chap I thought that sounded really rough back in those days. Today I just see him as like a normal person, you know. That's because people are actually rougher than him now, a lot rougher. But back then that would have been a very rough accent. And he says on the Good Looking documentary, he said, you've got a mainstream of shitty, simplified, fucked up, mangled sounds that come out at you like a piece of shit from a garbage can. Yes, unless you have what Bookham is playing, which is clean, fresh, intelligent, thought out breaks, melodies and pad patterns. I'm sorry, but we're the underground and untouchable forever. So he says something like that. I can't remember the exact phrase, but that's near enough what he says. Now that I saw as a rough accent if we go back in that time. Today I'd see that as a calm accent. People's accents are a lot more different today, I can tell you that. A lot more fucking, it's more sort of sturdy. It's like taken from the snob accent. So people that had that snob accent, that dry and sarcastic snob accent, it seems to be an accent that leads off from that goes into a more sort of dry and sarcastic accent. It goes into a more sort of stern accent. So it comes from the dry and sarcastic community, this accent, and most people in Somerset have this accent, and in Dorset I noticed. So it's like a dry accent, and they sometimes bring that R out in the word, like, oh fucking bash him, bash him, oh fucking hell, have him, oh fuck. It sort of comes out like that, a bit different maybe, a bit more dry, similar to what I'm describing. Some of it's more shouty, some of it's more sort of, it's like this toned up. It's done in a feel good way. So these people, like, they got oomph in them. They're bringing it up. They're bringing it out. You know, they got that in them. You know, to actually, you know, mouth off. Or they want to bring it up. You know, they got that good feeling inside them to start mouthing off or whatever. And they really sort of bring it out when they bring out that accent. But it's not just the sarcasm and the threats. It's more dictating. It's more of a sort of way where they say, I'm going to make it fucking clear to you, sort of way. I'm going to fucking make it clear. I'm going to have my fucking say. You shut your fucking face and I'll fucking tell you what I fucking think. But done in a much more sinister way than what it used to be. Like, I'll put you in your fucking place and I'll make it fucking known to you that you're a fucking sick bastard or a liar or whatever. So the accents like that today with basically everybody. When it comes to the female community, it's much the same as the snobby. In the 90s you had the snobby type of females which moaned if you touched their hair or if you touch their clothes, and they get funny about it if you walk past them or brush past them. They've all got that accent today, that of the 90s. Not many people were like that in the 90s. It's mostly the fat type of women that are dry and sarcastic. But today it's everybody's got that same accent, the same attitude. So it's the same accent, just where it's only about 10%, maybe 20% back in the 90s, it's 90+% today. So that's how females, maybe a bit more dry and sarcastic, maybe a bit more hardened in the head, so if someone says they're going to fucking knife someone, they wouldn't see it as any problem, they see it as normal, and that, you know, so it's different. But we're in a different time. We've got stupid people. I mean, the good news is there are still several good people out there. I mean, I can speak to one of the neighbours or two of the neighbours or several of the neighbours, although they might have autism or schizophrenia or whatever, but their accent is just basically pretty much understandable. It's not like this rough, hardened accent, you know. They probably might speak at times if they want to change their accent at times, but you know, but I guess a lot of these people are also different. They're against certain music, or they're against you know, when it comes to the old school jungle scene, that's looked at as being the shittiest music on the planet. People don't like music that's moody or that's soulful. There's got to be good life, happy, jolly, sexual music or whatever, and hip hop is one of those sorts of genres. However, hip hop's in its older days did have a better sound, but today they've brought it up to scratch, and it's not going to last much longer, this hip hop either, because there's a conspiracy that I was watching on the internet saying that this hip hop's going to die out, and when the hip hop dies out they're going to force people into trap, then they're going to change this trap music, and then when they change this trap music they're going to force everybody into mainstream. They're going to start adding guitar music mixed in with the trap and all the rest of it and start changing that, and they're going to try and get people into realistic music and take away the electronica scene, basically. That's what they're trying to do. But they're also trying to do away with classical music as well. The negative types of classical, moody tracks, or the dark classical. And they're trying to do away with the dark ambient, and this is why Cryo Chamber Records in America is being targeted and being told, and they're restricted to what they can sell, and they're trying to stop them printing records and CDs, and to eliminate it to downloads only. So there's a lot of I mean, they've already folded under the jungle scene. When it comes to the old school jungle scene, that's gone. The government had to fold that under. Also the underground techno scenes had to be folded under as well. But I don't like underground music. It's a problem. I don't exactly know why. It doesn't sound modern, you see. All this underground stuff makes an old sound to it, and it's got mystical. Look at the new age scene, for example. None of that can get commercialised. That's all in the underground. Although it's not underground in the same way as electronica, they can't even commercialise anything that's spiritual. All music that's spiritual has got to be stopped. So, you know, new rules. Eventually you're not going to be able to get any of this music, because they're going to cut everybody off the internet, or they're going to cut sites down, or people are not going to be able to sell their music or whatever. There's going to be laws on it and whatever, and people will only be able to buy the mainstream stuff. And obviously this hasn't taken place yet, but it will in the future. Right, the first threat that I just had was not long after I stopped the recordings. There's a person's name and says just and sick cunt, but the person's name is a name I don't want to give because is one of the only possibilities left of any possible single lady that I could possibly go with. Next problem, duck quacks to say knife you dead. Seagull says HIV injection being busted, ha ha ha. Flying creature says next life getting molested. Bonus allowed bike. Brownie purple car with light on. Grey car timed. Break in, you paedophile just said. By girls in a garden. Itchy bumholes allowed bike. Same again. Seagull says dead just breaking in. Squeak sounds. Hang on a minute. Basically squeak sounds to say knife you dead Justin. Those squelching noises, which sounds like whatever it was, has been going on for 5 minutes. Right, so there's just been arguments and a screaming child. There's been a few people that have passed, so I've not actually been able to mention what's been said. The first bit of information is not actually said by people walking my direction. Fancy Amelia being beat up said. Sick cunt beat up, he's already had his meal said. And then that's with the shrieky noises or whatever it is that would occur in just a two. So time to an erection and itchy bumhole, rather personal thing to talk about, but you know, it's got to stop because I'm getting fucking annoyed with it. Right, so Crow says being knifed in, dead Justin. Sad, said, and that is by someone walking past. Howard says molested Sadie. I think that's, I put a question mark next to that because I'm not sure. Justin break-in 2:30 by Flying Creature. So there's 2 cars at the catalytic converter hot point timed, but I can't remember what colour they were because I wasn't taking much notice at the time. Down the farm track that I went down to cross over from the field to the path, they timed a car there as well. Again, I can't remember what the car colour was because I wasn't paying much attention. I was trying to do a documentary regarding music, but I've had to delete that because I messed it up. I'm going to give you a few tracks that are my worstest tracks in any genre of music. So you got the Tokens, The Lion Wakes, The Lion Sleeps Tonight or something like that, Wimbowa or whatever it is pronounced as. That's one of what track I hate. Manfred Mann, 54321 I hate. I'm trying to think who the artist is. Simple Minds, Waterfront is another track I hate. Ronnie McDowell, Older Women, I don't like that track. However, I don't like much in the way of country and western anyway. I can't remember who does it, but you know the Back to the Future film, the track The Power of Love from the film Back to the Future. I don't like that track either. Alex Reese, I Feel the Sunshine, I don't like that track. Goldie, Inner City Life is another track I don't like. Right, I can't think of any others at the moment, but there should be another few that if I think of them I'll let you know. But let's start with the sellouts for a minute, because there's been black and blue sick cars, red, white, blue, penis up motorbike and blue sexual car. It looks like they're getting fucking heavy with the traffic. They were heavy earlier, but I've been in an area where they can't really set up, so it looks like walking back's going to be fucking time to fucking terrorise me again. So Leave it there, mate. Someone's playing a track called Laura in their car. It's the one that's on the Ultimate Chill Out album. I can't remember who does it. Well, that's interesting. Right, there's been a lot of the pelting traffic, literally. It's nearly as busy as what it was when I came down. Not record breaking, but very heavy. Looking at about 70 cars already, and it's only just slowing down. Well, I've been back home about an hour. There's a smell of turd, people are not flushing the loo, and there's persistent banging coming from the bottom floor. So, yeah, I'm not very happy. Right, so there's been a few threats this evening. I have 4 hours sleep because I was knackered. Loud lights wanking and coming on to it both times. Not something I like speaking about because it's rather a rude subject, but you can't help the setups that are occurring. Vehicles revving to say smashing you and bashing you and fucking breaking in. There's been a few threats to say you're being shot dead. Gonna get shot dead, just extremely sick, said fancy specific neighbour, said. So Grayson did saying that they everything missing, sad, Justin said. One of the neighbours is not here. That's being mentioned for some reason. Breaking in, Justin, and there's been a lot of banging as well. So that takes us to 20 past 10 p.m.